Hey there, everyone. Come check out the experience this Monday, December 19th at 6 p.m. Eastern. A lot's going on. Christmas is coming. All the holidays are coming. And as a special holiday treat, we're going to have 3 giveaways this show, so you definitely don't want to miss it. You know, along with all our other Dynamite titles and Marvel and DC. It's going to be fun. So it's going to be Rex and John and I think it's Robbie. Yes, Robbie's on Monday. I'll be there with Nick and all of us are going to be here. It's going to be a great time. So remember, it's the 19th of December, 6 p.m. It's a Monday, only on The Experience. Can't wait to see you.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers Station, and welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers Presents Rockin Robbie Live here on a Sunday night. It's the final Rockin Robbie Live of the year. I've been having some weird mic issues this week, so make sure, first of all, that you can hear me. If you can hear me, please let me know before I go on too long into this ramble. Anyway, thank you all so much for being here for Rockin Robbie Live, the final show of 2022 for Rockin Robbie Live. But don't worry, we come back in 2023 and it's going to be even bigger than it's ever been before. So station, pop, pop, boom. We got a great show. This is the show, by the way, where we gather, we talk about movies, comics, pop culture, and a whole lot more. Thank you so much, Rogue Collecting, for letting me know that you can hear me. Super excited to be here tonight. Had a good day today. Tonight we're going to be talking about the DC sneak peek. DC's got books out this week. I've read them. I'm going to let you know what I thought about them. And then we're going to be talking about Black Adam, because I missed Black Adam in theaters, but I finally watched it because it dropped on HBO Max. So we'll be doing a review on Black Adam. Then we're going to be talking about Image in the 90s. You know, last week I said, we already have talked about Spawn enough on this channel this year. We don't need to do a proper Image in the 90s to make sure we cover every single number one from the founding Image fathers from 1992, 30 years ago. And I was like, Robbie, how lame is that? Tonight on Image in the 90s, we're doing Spawn number 1. Then we're going to be talking about Batman, the second episode of Batman the Animated Series, Christmas with the Joker. A little bit of show and tell, all of that and more, and even though we have a plan. Grandiose it may seem, this show is driven, fueled, if you will, by your questions, your thoughts, your comments, and your concerns. So what do you want to chat about? What do you want to start talking about? That's the same thing. Anyway, let us know in the chat. Let us know when you get here. What is up, everybody? What's coming up here? First of all, I want to say you can find podcasts and more at popculturephilosophers.com. PopCulturePhilosophers.com. You can follow me on Twitter at the Rockin Robbie. You can follow Pop Culture Philosophers on Facebook and on Instagram. And if you're on Facebook, join the PCP Army. That's the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. You can get $15 in Whatnot credit at whatnot.com/invite/the Rockin Robbie. You can save 10% at dynamicforces.com when you enter code Robbie on anything that you purchase. And you can also support the channel with a super chat tonight or by joining patreon.com/PCP and unlock downloadable audio versions of the weekly comic book review and the weekly pop culture wrap-up hours before they drop on YouTube. Also, if you do want to support with Super Chat, we got some goals tonight. I'll go ahead and explain these. If we hit, these are cumulative totals. If we hit $10 in Super Chats tonight, I'm going to open up these McDonald's Pops. It's exciting, I know. If we hit $20 tonight in cumulative Super Chats, I'm going to open up this Gizmo figure, NECA from Gremlins. If we hit $30 in Super Chats tonight, I'm going to open up this King Randor figure from the Motu Origins line. If we hit $50 tonight, I'm going to open up this Slag action figure from Hasbro. It says Slug, but come on, y'all. He's Slag to me. Come on. That's what it is. And if we hit 100 in cumulative Super Chats tonight, we're going to open up this Mad Hasbro Siege War of Cybertron Trilogy Seeker set, which includes Acid Storm, Ion Storm, and Nova Storm. Did they label them wrong? They did label them wrong here. That's not Acid Storm. Yeah, that's Nova Storm. Yeah, that's Nova Storm. That's Acid Storm. They fucked that up. Anyway. So that's if you feel so inclined. And we do have a super chat. So we will be opening up at some point at the end of the show tonight the McDonald's Pops. Twitch with the $10 super chat. Jaguars. Not first in the league, but first in my heart. Great game today. The week of the comeback. Yep. Cowboys lost to the Jags today in overtime. Defense played poorly for the Cowboys. Run game was not there, non-existent. And 2 key interceptions thrown by Dak Prescott. Anyway, thank you for the super chat. I really do appreciate that. I have never been more saddened by a super chat ever, so thank you so much, Twitch. I really do appreciate it, but Cowboys should have won that game, and they lost it. We got the Eagles Saturday night or Saturday afternoon on Christmas Eve. Then we got the Titans a few days after that. It's could be a rough few weeks for the Cowboys. We'll see what happens. Anyway, thank you so much for the support. We really do appreciate that. All right, what's coming up here at the channel? Well, we don't have PCP Movie Night running right now. It's not coming back till January 9th. But when PCP Movie Night returns January 9th, 2023, we're talking about They Live. After that, Clerks, Taxi Driver, Surf Ninjas, Inside Llewyn Davis, Flash Gordon, and Cyborg. And we're not doing Dylan's Horror Show this week because it's Christmas Eve. However, we will be talking... Where the hell's the button? We will be talking about Terror Train. We believe this will be on December 30th. It's a Friday night. So there you go. Friday night on December 30th. We're talking about Terror Train over at Dylan's Horror Show. But tomorrow night, be sure to join Scarphead and them after you check out our show over at the EXP, where they're going to be talking about Children of Men. A movie I still haven't seen. I wanted to be on that stream, but it wasn't going to be able to happen, unfortunately. So anyway, before we get into who all is here and shouting out the chat, it's time for The first 5. All right, and tonight on the first 5, we're continuing our look at the Fleer Ultra Spider-Man set from 1995. The next card up is Fake Parents. So this is that time when Peter's parents had come back. Turned out that they were fake. They were like clones or some shit. But this is a part of the card set with Harry and Norman. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty dope. That's actually pretty awesome. All right, then we got an alien costume legacy set here. So we got the alien costume, Peter Parker. Then we've got Venom, pretty cool Venom card. And of course, we got Carnage. Couldn't quite nail that like Mark Bagley look. I couldn't think of his name for a second, Mark Bagley. This is by Tom Taggart. So let's put them together. This is the last triple cards in this set. So there you go. Connecting cards, pretty freaking cool. Nice little set there. Then we've got the origin of Spider-Man. We're in the milestone territory now. So of course we got to start with the origin of Spider-Man, and that card is by the Hildebrands. It's a pretty nice card, and that has been your first 5. All right, let's take a look. Who's all up in the chat? Let's see what's going on. We got Twitch spamming with a bunch of jags in the chat to start us off. Man, you be careful with that. I will block you. I'm not afraid to do that. I'm just... we got the artist formerly known as Jesse Say What Station. CMA Thunder's in the house. Station, y'all. Road Collecting Station, everybody. Road Collecting also says, can't believe Christmas is a week away already. No kidding. It's this week. It's this week. It's the end of the week. No, it's next week. It's 1 week away from today, Robbie. You were wrong. Then we got Mike06 in the house. What is up, Mike? How you doing? Jorm's up in the building. How you doing? Twitch wants to know if there's any other Jags fans out there. Rose says, nah, but I can't believe the Lions somehow won again today. Well, station for the Lions. William says, how about those Cowboys? What can go wrong will go wrong. Seems to happen. This that December curse we got. Hey, we got BJ in the house. Merry Christmas, Station. How you doing, buddy? Sleepy Reader 666, Station Comics, people. Evil Face Bad is up in the house. Station, dudes. Hip Hop Happens is up in the place. What is up? Trade Paper Dad, Station. Afro X, Legendary Station, everyone. GT Key Comic up in the building. We just say build now. We're trying to shorten it. Road Collecting says, everybody hit that like button. Yeah, like us, share, subscribe. Because we got these super chat goals. We got the links. We got the merch. We got all that kind of stuff. But it doesn't matter. All the support we need is a like, a share, a subscribe, and a participation in tonight's show. We got a good one. CTA Frank says, those damn Cowboys. I know. Cowboys hurt me today, says Trade Paper Dad. Too many interceptions. Yeah. Defense really didn't show up, though. I'll tell you that. The run game was... I don't want to talk about it. William up in the house. What is up, my man? Mike sounds good. Thank you so much. Eric. We got Paul in the house. Finally watched Black Adam 2, says Road Collecting. Oh, boy. Yeah, we'll be getting into that. We got Steph in the house. What's up, Missing Link? A few other shows I got to mention. Even though we don't have PCP Movie Night this week, we do have 2 PCP Family shows coming up. 3, actually. One of them, well, first of all, Geeks Unleashed. Today, I recorded our 3rd annual Christmas book club, and we're going through Scott Pilgrim. So this is the 3rd volume of Scott Pilgrim and the Infinite Sadness. I love hanging out with Jasmine and Mark, our homies over at Geeks Unleashed, part of the PCP Army Bad Batch. I love hanging out with them, and we have turned Scott Pilgrim into a damn Christmas tradition. One of those Christmas traditions that may not make sense on the surface, but it makes enough sense to me. And whenever I see the holiday season approaching, I think it's time to read Scott Pilgrim and talk about it with Jasmine and Mark over at Geeks Unleashed. So we recorded that today. That will drop on Wednesday. But they also had their end of the year, best of the year IG stream tonight. And I joined that for a little bit. Also, Steph was there. Nick was there. Manny was on there. Fable and Big Herm were on there. So what a great show that was, talking about our favorites of the year. And I officially released my top 5 movies of 2022. So that's what we did there. Also, Wednesday night, I forget what time, but over at my homies Jelani and Brooks' new YouTube channel, Go Figure Reviews, where they talk about toys, they're doing their first annual Christmas live stream, and it's going to be me and a few other people on there during the live stream, just having some general show and tell, talking about toys and whatnot. So that's going to be super fun. Station, everybody. Some Woodford Reserve there. And then Friday night, forgot to mention this, Friday night, where's the damn button? Friday night is going to be our Festivus stream, our 5th annual Festivus stream, December 23rd. For 5 years now, this will make. We've been gathering on Festivus to air our grievances, erect the pole, and show off our feats of strength. And it's always a great, grand old fun time at the PCP Festivus live stream. So that's going to be Friday night. What time? 7 or 8 Central. Haven't quite nailed that down. But yes, we got Steph here. We got Mastermind Design 369. What is up? Robbie, if the language is the barrier, then what comic book publication should do to overcome that barriers? I don't understand that question. What language would be the barrier? You want a more visual experience? Step by Bloody Step is all a visual experience. AC says, Happy Festivus. Guilty Corgi says, DC Comics presents Superman and Santa Claus 67. Yeah, we covered that. Was that last year or 2 years ago? It was either last year or 2 years ago. I think it was last year. We covered that on DC in the 80s. And just clipped that out and put it up earlier in the week. We got Perry in the house station. How you doing, Perry? Kenneth Bird in the house, who keeps winning the giveaways over at the EXP. Hey, John's in the house. Lions won. What weird upside-down world we living in. Man, I don't even want to talk about football right now. Patrick's Garage, what is up? It's okay. My Buccaneers got destroyed by the Bengals today. The entire team collapsed in the second half, starting with Brady. AC says the boys should have lost last week. Yes, but a win is a win, and we're just going to let that ride. Luke Meister's in the house. What is up, station? There's a weird audio thing going on during the Super Chat song. There were weird sudden increases in volume. Yeah, when I kept popping on into live streams this week, people were talking about the mic was super hot. When I came in today, like it was just like redlined all the way through, so I had to turn everything down. It's weird, this mixer. Sometimes it wants me to drop everything down. Sometimes it wants it up higher. It's so weird. How about them Bengals? Says Mike. Hey, Vern's in the house. Cerebros. We also got Big Herm Collectibles. Bobby De La Ghetto. Look at all these blue wrenches coming in all of a sudden. Comic Book Therapy in the house. Afro X says, nice hat, Robbie. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas as well. And also, Happy Hanukkah. Tonight is the first night of Hanukkah. This is one of those years where Hanukkah goes right along perfectly with the week leading up to Christmas. Was it Festivus or New Year's that brought us You're Worth It? It was a Festivus stream that brought us You're Worth It. If Jelani was that drunk during the New Year's stream, he would not have made it throughout that. I remember that time we did a 6-hour New Year's live stream. 6 hours. I was the only one there for all 6 hours, but it was a great show. That was fun time. Cowboys ending was wild. Yeah, that whole game was wild. If I didn't have a horse in the race, if I didn't care, that would have been a great game. Kind of like the World Cup today. I did catch the tail end of the game and then the overtime and then the penalty shots. We did the Geeks Unleashed show pretty early today, and for me, right? But we had a great show. When that was done, I went in and I was about, on Sunday, I like take time out. I do my laundry. I do my vacuuming. I do my straightening up in the apartment. I just have like a nice me day. You know what I'm saying? I get my show ready. Sometimes I have certain things prepared already, but I put it all together. I do that on Sunday. I watch my football games. and all that kind of stuff, right? Where was I going with this? Oh, so after that, I'm like, okay, I got to get to my to-do list now, right? All right, I got to get to it. And then I turned on the TV and I was like, oh yeah, the World Cup finals on, and I was watching it, and I had seen in our PCP Army back chat, I had seen that there was discussion that Argentina was up 2-0, and then France came up all of a sudden, and it was tied 2-2. So then I started watching it, and then I watched it go into overtime, and then I watched Argentina get a goal, then France get a goal. That dude from France got 3 fucking goals today, which was wild and awesome. It was very exciting. And then the penalties, the penalty kicks to end it all. I really enjoyed that. I watched it while I was enjoying my Taco Bell breakfast. Y'all, I tell you what, I'm really coming around on this Taco Bell breakfast thing. I think that those Taco Bell breakfast crunch wraps are fucking delicious. I watch a lot of basketball, NBA basketball here lately, of course, because we're in the season. And there's always these fucking Pete Davidson fucking Taco Bell breakfast commercials. And when I first saw those like a couple months ago, I was like, I've never had one of those breakfast crunch wraps, but they sound good. I'm addicted. I have a thing now where usually it's Friday morning or Sunday morning, I treat myself to a Taco Bell breakfast. Anyway, that's what I did. Today I had the sausage crunch wrap. I like the bacon one the best, but I got the sausage today, and I always get an extra hash brown and a Diet Pepsi. It was delicious. Hey, Bueller's in the house. Taco Bell breakfast. You don't get real Taco Bell in your area. No, our Taco Bell slap down here, Bueller. We just don't have, apparently, the fucking correct way to make a chalupa, because we have the Alabama pancake. Yield Alabama pancake. Eric says, that New Year's stream was awesome. Well, thank you. Yep, Jelani brought us You're Worth It. He was so loaded that night. What are the first comics you bought with your own money? My first comics, that's hard to actually pin down. But I do vividly remember the first time I was in a comic shop by myself. I was walking home from school, and I stopped at the comic shop, which was on the way to my place. And I walked in, and I saved lunch money. Like, I wouldn't eat lunch, and I would, like, save the money. And I went in, and I bought a Fantastic Four, $3.74. And, yeah, loved it. I'd been reading Fantastic Four off and on before that. But from that moment on, never stopped. Bobby says, happy Hanukkah, everybody. Hey, we got Mark in the house. What is up? How are you doing? Hanukkah-ish. Yeah, fuck you, Burnham. Referencing last night's great episode of Dylan's Horror Show, where we talk about Silent Night, Deadly Night 3, 4, and 5. And pretty much across the board, most people hated them all. Some liked some better than others. I actually did really like Part 4, Initiation. And Dylan really likes The Toy Maker. But we had a good time. Twitch says, the World Cup was phenomenal. Yeah. I was so hyped. I enjoyed that. Then I went straight to the Cowboys game, and that was an up and down experience. Anyway, we're gonna make it the playoffs. We'll be fine. We just got to fix some of these things. It's not looking too good. Have you seen the show Bump in the Night? There's a Christmas special. Don't be a Grinch. Check it out, says Frankenfrog. No, I haven't seen that one. Bump in the Night? What streaming service is that on? Bump in the Night. One more holiday movie I really want to fit in is that Christmas Bloody Christmas, which I hear is really good, but I haven't seen it. Mbappe, right? That's his name, Twitch. Yeah, he is a beast. That was awesome. But it's cool to see that dude in Argentina win, right? He's like old school, right? He can retire happy now. Yeah, Pete Davidson, what a fucking actor. I'll tell you what, though, he's right about. Those Taco Bell Crunch Wrap breakfast things are fucking delicious. Like, I love them. Like, Taco Bell's got some good hash brown game, y'all. I'm just going to say that. Rockin Robbie just got a second win in life by Taco Bell breakfast. You're right. It's like a weekly treat. It's a weekly treat. I always get the breakfast burritos with the steak. Yeah, that like super toasted grande one with the steak, and it's got steak, potatoes, and eggs, and cheese, and shit like that. That's delicious, too. Like, I like their burritos, but that Crunch Wrap is the shit. I'm glad they've gotten... Here's the thing about Taco Bell breakfast, y'all. At least in my area, in the 90s, we had Taco Bell breakfast, and it was awesome. There was this, like, country gravy and sausage burrito that had, like, gravy and potatoes and sausage in it. It was delicious. They had some really good breakfast, and then it went away because gravy was a factor. Gravy and sausage with a burrito at the Taco Bell, and it worked. I mean, apparently that didn't exist to everybody because I've talked about it to a lot of people, and they don't all remember it, but that was key. Then when Taco Bell brought back breakfast, I was really excited, and it was bullshit, man. They had those, like, waffle fucking taco, that bullshit. They had so many just weird stretches, like they didn't know what the fuck to do. And it's like, y'all, you totally knew what to do in the 90s, but apparently it didn't work too well then either. I don't know. I guess not everybody wants the sausage, potato, and gravy biscuit, and I mean, or burrito, and I loved them, right? Anyway, so I stopped eating them, and then there was a time where I was like, well, let me just get some breakfast burritos, and then I got massive food poisoning off of some Taco Bell breakfast, like 10, 8, whenever they brought it back, right? So I said, fuck this shit. But I saw them commercials this year. I was like, okay, Taco Bell breakfast, I'm going to give you another chance. And I still haven't given Wendy's breakfast a chance because that seems like a weird stretch. However, Taco Bell breakfast, it's been winning me over. Like I said, every week I pretty much get a Crunchwrap Supreme and a hash brown. Maybe I usually, sometimes just to get the DoorDash level so it's free delivery, I'll like buy another like a burrito, like a breakfast burrito, and I'll save that for lunch, you know? And so there's always a high sodium day. So I guess I should start doing it only on Sundays, so it's Sodium Sunday. You know what I'm saying? But station. Taco Bell's up their breakfast game. But don't think that that means that they're excluded from my list of grievances this year on our 5th annual Festivus stream on Friday night, because they are not. I have a major grievance against Taco Bell this year. Twitch says, I have taco joints in Lincoln that have much better breakfast stuff. I'm sure you do. I'm sure we do too. Like, every town's got a restaurant that does anything better than a fast food restaurant. Can you not let me enjoy my Crunch Wrap? I already allowed you to spam us in the beginning with all those Jag bullshit fucking emojis anyway. Hey, Mark McGrath is in the house. What is up? No, you're right, though. I mean, you're right. You're right. Jay says an Alabama pancake doesn't sound like breakfast. It's not. It should be, but it's not. What we're referring to is the shitty chalupas we have down here that are not toasted. They look bland and pale, and we've dubbed them the Alabama pancake. Because I had Bueller on one time, and I was going to eat a chalupa with them, and our chalupa... Bueller says, shut up, Robbie. You don't even bag your Fantastic Four collection. Makes me sick. Big Herm says, Do a Powerbomb is the comic series of the year, hands down. It's definitely going to be on my list. My list will drop not this week, but next week. Steph says, Silent Night, Deadly Night, most divisive bad horror franchise ever. Say what you will about the franchise. The first one is still amazing. I love the first one. Tom, what is up? The one in Scottsboro is always unbeatable. I have to check that one out then. Next time I drive through Scottsboro, usually on a road trip. Larry says, Merry Christmas, y'all. Station. What time doesn't Taco Bell breakfast go till? In my area, it stops at 11. Christmas Bloody. Christmas is solid. Just don't get your expectations too high. Definitely fun, though, says Verno. Hey, you don't condescend to me about my expectations there, buddy, okay? You're just a casual. Mike says Silent Night, Deadly Night is gigantic moronic splendor. I disagree. I actually think the first movie is really good. I think it's more than big dumb fun. Drunkish Robbie is hilarious. A lot of people think that. I was really drunk or I was really getting drunk last night on Dylan's Horror Show. I started talking about my dick a lot towards the end there. But I'll tell you what, I really enjoyed Silent Night, Deadly Night 4 Initiation. I like that one. It's my kind of weird. Sausage, biscuits, and gravy slaps. Absolutely. Gravy is an Alabama thing, says Bueller. Okay, maybe that's why it didn't work, but we love our gravy in the morning. Is chocolate gravy a thing for y'all? Because gravy, oh my goodness, chocolate gravy too? Seriously, chocolate gravy and biscuits. Like, is that a Southern thing too? I don't know. Sometimes I don't know what's Southern and what's not. I remember when I was, case in point, when I was in Chicago and I ordered a sweet tea and they were like, they were so confused. Like, you want us to bring you sugar for your hot tea? I'm like, no, I want iced tea, but sweet. And they're like, what? You want sugar in your iced tea? And I'm like, what the fuck? Do you got a 7-Up or a Sprite then? Give me that. Shit. Wendy's breakfast is a weird stretch, but Taco Bell isn't. Yeah, it isn't, because Wendy's doesn't have biscuits and shit, right? Right? Do they? I don't think they have biscuits. And they've never really tried to do breakfast before. But Taco Bell's not a weird stretch, because breakfast burritos are a legitimate thing that existed before Taco Bell ever even thought. Like, I don't know if they still do, but McDonald's for a while had breakfast burritos. Chick-fil-A has breakfast burritos on their menu. Like, breakfast burritos are a thing, y'all. Don't act like it's not. It's not a weird stretch for Taco Bell to have breakfast. It's a weird stretch for Taco Bell to get a waffle and wrap it up like a taco and put some eggs and some fucking maple syrup and a fucking sausage patty in it. That's a weird fucking stretch. I'll tell you that. But breakfast burritos, that ain't a weird stretch. Billy says, Robbie, don't eat Taco Bell. It's made out of people. Well, those people taste good to me. No, the Mexican pizza is back, Steph, and I'm very happy about that. You know, Bueller, you're putting out this lie that my Fantastic Four collection is not bagged and boarded and in order. You found a random box that had some of my more recent pickups over the last few months. You found a random box of shit. You found a couple of Silver Age Fantastic Fours that weren't in bags and boards. Brother, it is the way it is. I got my Fantastic Four number 5 is just laying over there right now next to that red light. Just laying there. Just laying there. Why? Because they're just comics, man. But, yeah, Bueller's right. I do need to bag and board more of my comic collection. All right, Twitch, I'm glad that you like other Taco Bell or other Mexican breakfast fast food joints aside from Taco Bell. Does that discount my thoughts on the Crunchwrap breakfast Taco Bell menu item? It doesn't. Why am I having to defend this? All I said was that the Crunchwrap Taco Bell breakfast thing is slaps. It's good. I heard that an Alabama pancake comes with a side of Southern pride. No. Some good banana pudding down here, or some good barbecue, or apparently some good biscuits and gravy. That comes with some Southern pride. It doesn't come from our Taco Bell's chalupas. Hey, Ouroboros is in the house. What is up? All these people, they always talk about getting bad gut reactions from Taco Bell. It doesn't happen to me. I guess you just got to acclimate to it. Being close to Christmas, have you read Arvid Nelson's Rex Mundi? I read Rex Mundi when it first came out, like in the, I guess we call them the aughts nowadays. I read it back then, like the first initial one. I had the trade and no longer have it. I haven't read that in a long time. Is it still going on? Give me a hot tea on my dick. Yeah, I would have said that last night for sure. It's on my dick. You've never heard of chocolate gravy. Okay, good to know. Gravy is a country thing. Not all gravy is a country thing, but I guess breakfast gravy is a country thing. That's okay. Okay, that's cool. I have not seen Bones, no. I'll back and board these comics on my dick. Big Herm says, I just had a Mexican pizza from Taco Bell. Loved it. Jay Burns says, do you have a favorite holiday trade? For me, it's Klaus from Boom and a book coming out soon called Periwinkle from Bad Bug Media. I'll tell you what, Klaus is, I mean, that's always going to be up there. Klaus is absolutely fantastic. Grant Morrison, Dan Mora, The True Story of Santa Claus. I love that. I wish I would have jumped onto that Kickstarter, but I didn't for the hardcovers. I have all the issues. But I love Klaus, and I wish that there was, because for a while there, they were at least doing a special every year, but they didn't this last year, or the year before, I don't think. Excuse me. But outside of that, I will say that I love reading the Marvel holiday specials from the early 2000s. So I do like to read those. I covered a couple of them here on Rockin Robbie Live on Marvel in the 90s. The 1991, I think, is in particular one of my favorites. It's the one with I think, is it an Art Adams cover? I think it's an Art Adams cover, and it's Captain America and all the Marvel heroes behind him, and he's like, "Stop that man!" And you open up the wraparound cover, and it's Santa Claus that they're all chasing. I covered that one a couple years ago. And then this year, we have a really good single-issue, self-contained story, Christmas-oriented to read. It was the Batman One Bad Day Mr. Freeze one-shot by, that was Scalera on the artwork. Who was the writer on that? I don't remember the writer. Was it Jerry Duggan? Or Dugan? I don't know, but the Matteo Scalera Spider-Man, Batman, Mr. Freeze one-shot was really a really great Christmas tale. Oh shit, also, I forgot to mention this, but once again, pinned up at the top of the chat, I have my Amazon wish list. People have reached out. They wanted to get a Christmas present for me. That's my Amazon wish list. It's a bunch of movies and shit. Some people have already sent me some stuff, and I'm super grateful and thank you for that. I'll be showing that off in show and tell later on. But the idea is, if you send me something, let me know that it's you, right? Because some people sent me anonymous shit, and if I don't know it's you, I can't send you something back in return. And the idea is, it's not just me asking for free shit off my Amazon wish list. I want to send you something in return. So we got some in already, and I appreciate everybody for participating in the PCP gift exchange. Mike says, how come nobody's ever brought up Taco Bell or Del Taco breakfast? I've never eaten at a Del Taco. We're getting one, so. Ouroboros says, yo, had no idea Suspiria was your favorite horror film. I really enjoyed the remake, but never saw it. Now I'm totally gonna. Did you ever see the remake since that original DHS? Yes, I have seen the remake. Didn't really like it, to be honest with you. But it was really hard for me to divorce myself from my love of Argento's Suspiria. It's not just my favorite horror film. It's one of my favorite films, like, period. I love that movie so much. So I was actually chatting with a friend last night about this. She was saying that she had rewatched the remake, and she loved it. And we watched it together last year. She fucking loved it. And I wasn't as into it, but I do want to watch it again. Because there was no way to divorce myself from my love of Argento's movie on the first watch. You know what I'm saying? So I need to give it a fair shot. Plus, now I'm the hugest Mia Goth head. So really excited to check it out for that too. Hey, the Comic Forge is in the house. Pressable Defects up in the room. What is up, my man? How you doing, buddy? Merry Christmas, you filthy animal. Here's to you, buddy. Station. Are you taking a piss, Mark? I love Manny's British accent. He's got a very particular one from some movie he saw at some point, and I love it. I love it so much. Jay says, you know what's on my wish list? Batman. Seriously, laughed every time you showed it last week. Yeah, Batman's coming up again later on tonight. It's going to be fun. Steph says, keep sending it anonymous, y'all. No, I want to send y'all something. Jerry Duggan did it. Okay, thank you. I really liked that one. Lars says, when it comes to drinking, I'm way ahead of you. Well, Station, congratulations. I'm happy for you. Double S says, how are you liking the Sweetie comic book series so far, Rockin' Robbie? I'm actually really enjoying it. I don't think it's a great book. I don't think it's necessarily super solid, but it's gigantic moronic splendor. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I wish the art was tighter, if that makes sense. But I'm enjoying the gist of it. I don't find it boring. It's not the most well executed comic, but I do really enjoy Sweetie. Bueller says, you send us something back in return? Yeah, a year later, you have to drive halfway across the country to get it. Look, Bueller, I'm tired of you spreading these lies about me during the holiday season. Yes, Bueller, I never sent you your free exclusive. You had to come here to get it. I'm sorry. You were going to be here anyway, homie, and I gave you some to give out to the community. So, homie, we had such a good time, but you're right, man. You are right. Here's the problem, though, Bueller. If you sent me something, I don't know where to send it in return. You're everywhere, brother. Last time I heard, were you still in California? Bueller right now is trying to go where it's warm and sunny. That's what he's trying to do. I don't blame him. Ouroboros says, I'm so excited to see the original and the trilogy it's a part of. I really like the remake, but the way you've spoken about this has me hyped. Don't expect too much out of the trilogy. I do really like the trilogy. Suspiria, though, is just something to me that is just absolutely amazing. My favorite Christmas movies. Gremlins is my favorite Christmas movie. Outside of that, Batman Returns, Go. We just covered both of those. Scrooged is up there. Die Hard, Lethal Weapon, Rambo. Those are my favorite Christmas movies. Billy says, Robbie, don't open that package I sent you. It turns out it's just a dead raccoon, not an alien. Okay. Well, shit, I got my hopes up, brother. Oh, also, Black Christmas. Black Christmas is one of my favorite Christmas movies as well. William says, treated myself to 2 Christmas gifts. 1, FF by Alex Ross. 2, the Batman Animated Series Blu-ray. Yeah, it had a good price on it this week, too. Good price on it this week, too. All right, y'all. DC's got books out this week. I've read them. It's time for your DC Sneak Peek. All right, and first up, GCPD, The Blue Wall, issue number 3. I am still enjoying this series. John Ridley is a really good writer. And the structure of this series is great. It's a spiritual successor, basically, to Gotham Central. They're leaning heavily into some of the Greg Rucka, Renee Montoya bits from that series here. But they're also introducing us to 3 new people in, like, just out of the academy, dealing with the problems in the GCPD in their own way. And I love and adore this book. And this one was very Montoya-centric. I think that book is awesome. It's got me wanting to dive into I Am Batman because John Ridley's really good there. And then we got Flash 789. It's a decent enough conclusion, I guess, to the story. We had this cool story. I liked this setup in the last issue. The former warden of Iron Heights is now the mayor of Central City, and he has deputized the rogues, right? And he's put it in martial law. And this is a really rapid conclusion to it that I thought had kind of a cheap ending. So I've been loving what Jeremy Adams and company are doing on The Flash, but this one just, I didn't like the finale here. I thought it was kind of rushed, silly, but at the same time, that's superhero comics, and this feels very classic superhero-y. So I still liked it. It was all right. Then we got Deceased, War of the Undead Gods, number 5 of 8. Another great issue. Some inconsistencies on the art because we have another artist come in to do certain pages here and there. But aside from that, it's cool. It levels up the threat. It sets up a big final act for this final act of Deceased. I'm loving the tragedy of it. I'm loving the epicness of it. And I'm loving the nuance of it. So Deceased still is cool. Then we got Stargirl, The Lost Children, issue number 2 from Jeff Johns and Todd Knock. I'm liking this book. It's good, simple, clean, Courtney fun. You know, Stargirl fun, right? It reminds me of Jeff Johns on the initial Stars and Stripes series. It reminds me of his JSA run. It's rooted into the Golden Age. Basically, a bunch of Golden Age sidekicks have gone missing, and nobody's noticed. Some of them are known. Some of them are new characters created by Jeff Johns. And what Jeff Johns is doing right now in his corner of the DC universe, where they're allowing him to kind of blossom out this JSA corner, is really sharp, and I'm liking it. And I like Todd Knox's classic feeling artwork. Then we got Nightwing issue number 93. Or 99, my bad. The penultimate issue until 100, and then it's going to keep going. Tom Taylor's been doing a great job on Nightwing. Bruno Redondo as well. He's back on the art, but there are a few pages done by a different artist, but it does kind of capture the same vibe, but you can tell. So it's not quite as jarring as Deceased was, right? But there is a little bit of artistic inconsistency in this issue, but it's still a solid issue, but it does, once again, build something up, something new. Now that Blockbuster's been defeated, we're still allowing the Heartless situation to kind of meander out there for a little bit till it can bubble up, right, and boil over the pot. Anyway, this one introduces something new that they could have developed further, and then it just kind of quickly undercuts it. So there's some interesting developments. It was a solid issue, and it was pretty decent, but they could have developed this out a little bit further, but, that's all right. We'll see what happens. Then we got Batman vs. Robin, issue number 4. This is not the final issue of the series. It promises it returns in February, and I can verify that it will be returning. But this is the issue that leads into the setup of Lazarus Planet. So, as a setup for Lazarus Planet, it's got some really interesting ideas, and we were wondering how this was going to lead to that, and it does it in a decent enough way. But as a finale to this arc of Batman versus Robin, it doesn't feel fully realized, if that makes sense. Like, it just kind of feels like a bunch of it's thrown together. I feel like the true gut punch ending of this was in the last issue. I liked this issue. Some artistic inconsistencies here as well. I liked this issue, and I liked the setup for Lazarus Planet, but that didn't come across as epic as I thought it would. And it didn't work as like a personal conclusion to this arc. But it was still decent. It was still decent enough. However, what really worked, and this is my favorite DC book of the week, Batman Superman World's Finest, issue number 10. Y'all, this was awesome. So we have this whole Boy Thunder story going on. Basically, this person from a parallel Earth winds up in our DC universe, and Superman takes him on as a sidekick. And they've been developing this character, and now we got the Joker and Keymaster involved, and he's been kidnapped by the Joker and Keymaster. He's being tortured by the Joker and Keymaster, and Superman is getting angry. He's trying to fight him. This book is really good. It's really solid. Dan Mora artwork, Tamara Bonvillain coloring, Mark Waid storytelling. But y'all, the end of this book blew my mind. I'm going to tell y'all this. Longtime DC fans and DC fans of Mark Waid's work in particular, when you see the connection and reveal that he has at the end of this issue, my jaw fucking dropped, y'all. I thought that was awesome as hell. But there's another DC book I read, and that was Dark Crisis, issue number 7. This is the final issue of Dark Crisis. The only issue of Dark Crisis I did not get to read early. So I read it for the first time today, and it's all right. It's a decent enough conclusion to this Dark Crisis series. Overall now, I can clearly say this. I really appreciate what Josh Williamson and Daniel Samperi were doing by trying to have a crisis event that was more focused in on the core idea of legacy and how important that is to the DC universe, and how Nightwing is like the touchstone here, and the conflict between Nightwing and Deathstroke in particular. This book, I would feel a lot better about if it wasn't called a crisis. This almost feels like a crisis in name only. It does rebirth the infinite Earths. We're back to the pre-crisis days where we have an infinite number of realities. I like that. I like that idea. There's certain things that are set up here that are cool. I like the finale of this story. I like this story. But it's not a good crisis story. It never felt epic. It's more personal. I think that's the intent. We had Josh on the channel earlier this year, before this launched. And he said that his intention was to make a more personal, grounded legacy-driven crisis. He did it, but the problem is I just feel like the crisis level was not attained. That being said, I do like this series. I like this finale. I like what it sets up. But the very last big thing, which should have been like, oh, now we're really ready for DC in 2023. That didn't work for me. That didn't work for me too much. So it was okay. A little bit of a mixed bag. So to recap, GCPD, The Blue Wall, loving it. Flash, it was okay. A little cheap, rushed ending. Deceased is really pushing it forward and doing something different. Stargirl, Lost Children, really cool. Nightwing, pretty solid issue, but this could have been expanded a little bit. Batman vs. Superman, a decent enough conclusion, I guess. It was better of a setup for Lazarus Planet, less of a good conclusion to this arc. Batman Superman, World's Finest, though, number 10. I can't wait to see people's reaction to the last page. And then Dark Crisis, number 7. It's all right. I like it as a story involving Legacy and Dick Grayson and Deathstroke. I like it less as a crisis event. And that has been your DC Sneak Peek. All right, so there you go. We're taking a quick break. When we come back, we'll be talking about Black Adam, and we'll be talking about Image in the 90s, where we talk and dive into Spawn, number 1. We'll be right back here on Pop Culture Philosophers.
Hey there, everyone. Come check out the experience this Monday, December 19th at 6 p.m. Eastern. A lot's going on. Christmas is coming. All the holidays are coming. And as a special holiday treat, we're going to have 3 giveaways this show, so you definitely don't want to miss it. You know, along with all our other Dynamite titles and Marvel and DC. It's going to be fun. So it's going to be Rex and John and I think it's Robbie. Yes, Robbie's on Monday. I'll be there with Nick and all of us are going to be here. It's going to be a great time. So remember, it's the 19th of December, 6 p.m. It's a Monday, only on The Experience. Can't wait to see ya.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Rockin Robbie Live here on Pop Culture Philosophers. I am your host, Rockin Robbie Bills. How is everybody doing? Welcome to Act 2 of Rockin Robbie Live, the final Rockin Robbie Live of 2022. And we appreciate everybody being here. We've already had a great show already. We just wrapped up the DC sneak peek where I talked about my thoughts on upcoming DC books this week that drop on Tuesday. So there you go. I will say this. You can follow Pop Culture Philosophers on Facebook and on Instagram. And if you're on Facebook, make it official. Join the official PCP Army. That's right, the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. You can follow me on Twitter at The Rockin Robbie. You can find podcasts and more at popculturephilosophers.com. You can get $15 in Whatnot credit at whatnot.com/invite/The Rockin Robbie. You can get 10% off of all orders at dynamicforces.com when you enter the code Robbie. You can also support the channel over at patreon.com/PCP, like these fine PCP patrons right there, or with the Super Chat. So, we have some Super Chat goals tonight. With $10, we unlock opening the McDonald's Pops. We have gotten the $10, so that goal is done. Now, when we hit $20, we're going to open up this Gizmo Gremlins NECA figure, so that's $10 more. We open that up later. For $30, so that's 20 more, we open up this King Randor. For $50, that's 40 more, we open up this Slug/Slag Transformers figure. And for $100, cumulative we're talking, which is 90 more, we'll open up this Seeker box set for Transformers. But all the support we need is a like, a share, a subscribe. Join the conversation. What do you want to chat about? Let's get it going. I already see a lot of people out there talking about the James Gunn situation. Coming up in this segment, though, we've got the Black Adam movie review coming in, and it will have some spoilers in it. We will also be doing Image in the 90s, where we're going to dive into Spawn issue number 1. And then later on in the show, Batman is on the way. Also, I got my Amazon wish list pinned at the top of the live chat. If you feel so inclined, You can buy something off of that, have it sent to me for a Christmas or a holiday gift, and if I get something from you, make sure I know that it's from you so I can send you something back in our first annual PCP Rockin Robbie gift exchange. No PCP movie night tomorrow night, but we return on January 9th with They Live, and after that, we'll be covering Clerks, Taxi Driver, Surf Ninjas, Inside Llewyn Davis, Flash Gordon, and Cyborg. But tomorrow night, after the EXP show, be sure to check out Scarpad's Sci-Fi Sojourns as they talk about Children of Men. I will be joining Scarpad's Sci-Fi Sojourns next week, the day after Christmas, when we talk about 2001: A Space Odyssey. And Dylan's Horror Show is off this week, but we will be doing a special maybe Friday presentation on the 30th to talk about Terror Train, New Year's Eve horror on DHS. So there you go. What is up, everybody? Let's take a look at the chat. And Station, let's have a good Act 2 here. I saw some chat about James Gunn. Some people are liking that break music, right? One of my favorite Christmas songs is God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen. And I was looking at free music available on YouTube Studio, and that was there, and I was like, I like this. I like that a lot. So, God rest ye merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay. Remember Christ our Savior was born on Christmas Day to save us all from Satan's power when we were gone astray. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy. Another one of my favorite Christmas songs is Three Kings, We Three Kings. And so I love the Bare Naked Ladies, Sarah McLachlan version where they mesh up God Rest You Merry Gentlemen and We Three Kings. That's my favorite Christmas song, actually, probably. Also, have a holly jolly Christmas. It's the best time of the year. Well, I don't know if there'll be snow, but have a cup of cheer. Throw up that cup of cheer, everybody. Let's get Rockin' Robbie going. Billy says, I thought Black Adam was good. Ouroboros says, I agree on Black Adam. Wish it did better at the box office. Billy says, it entertained me. Lars says, having been a huge fan of DC since the middle of the 80s, in the 80s, and also Marvel Comics from the late 70s, now my favorite comic publisher is Image. Image definitely by far. No competition pretty much for me for Publisher of the Year. I was on the Lost in Comics nomination special. By the way, everybody can go. If somebody could throw up their link to their poll. But we did the nomination special on Thursday with Chris and David from Lost in Comics and a few other guests. We had another Chris, and we had Nat, and then me. And we nominated our books for all these categories, and it was a great conversation, some good nominations, and I was really excited that some of the ones that I nominated are now in the final voting stage, including Girl Scout Stone Ghost for underrated comic. So there you go. Hashtag Fire James Gunn. Saw that one going around. Let's go Warner Brothers. Billy says James Gunn will be the Kathleen Kennedy of DC films. Steph says, that's dramatic, but I respect it. Ouroboros says, yep. No point to the 2023 slate of films. Yep, 2023 in the DCEU is meaningless if you care about it connecting to something in the future. But if you just want to see a good sequel to Aquaman, if you want to see a good sequel to Shazam, if you want to see a good Flash movie, hopefully we'll get those. We'll see what happens. But I understand what you're saying there. Twitch says, I wish Image would develop a web app. I know it won't happen, but Comixology sucks now, and it is a huge advantage for Marvel and DC to have their own services. I agree. Steph says, I think Gunn is a lovely filmmaker. Ouroboros says, I appreciate when his sensibilities are reined in. Steph says, all of his movies have heart, Billy says, DC, out with the masculine, in with the woke. Okay. Twitching says, brooding isn't masculinity. That's right. Brooding can be feminine as well. Steph says, different strokes for different folks. If we were all the same, life would be boring. That's true. That's true. Figure Drawing said a lot of stuff, but deleted it. Okay, I see what you're saying. What Comic Cons will PCP Army attend in 2023? Well, before I get to that, let me address this James Gunn thing. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. I haven't noticed anybody being shitty tonight to each other over opinions. Obviously, one thing we don't tolerate here at PCP is intolerance. And that means tolerant of everybody's dipshit opinion. You know, all of our opinions are dipshits. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, who are we, any of us, to give our opinion on these things, right? However, that's what we're here to do. So, every opinion is valid, but don't shit on each other for your opinions, and don't be negative. Now, I haven't seen any of that personally, and I don't think that's been going on. I just want to make sure that we all understand that we are tolerant of people's opinions, however dipshit they may be. And in my opinion, we all have some dipshit opinions, including myself. But I am excited for James Gunn. This is what blows me the fuck away. This is what blows me away. And you know what? I'm not drunk, but I am buzzed. So I'm not going to be talking about my dick or nothing right now. However, I feel a rant coming on. You know what shocks the shit out of me? All these fucking people, for the last 10 years, have been bitching about Man of Steel. They've been bitching about Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice. They've been bitching about Ben Affleck as Batman. They've been bitching about Zack Snyder and his vision. They've been bitching about the Snyder Cut being released. They've been bitching about the Whedon Cut being theatrically released. They've been bitching about Wonder Woman 1984. They've been bitching about the third act of the first Wonder Woman film. They've been bitching at elements of the Aquaman movie, including Amber Heard. They've been bitching at the lack of a third act for Shazam. They've been bitching at David Ayer's Suicide Squad. They've been bitching at the idea that people want the Ayers cut of Suicide Squad. They've been bitching at all the extra footage that Zack Snyder did for the 4-hour version of Justice League. They've been bitching about Black Adam. They've been bitching about all of these things. And then all of a sudden, because James Gunn says, and amongst all the bitching, when I would ask people that just whined and moaned and lamented the slow death of the DCEU, and I was there, I like a lot of the movies from the DCEU. I don't like all of them. Same with the MCU. Here's the thing. Every time people bitched and moaned to me about any of these aspects of the DC films, which they did not like, I would say, what's the answer? What do you want them to do? I always said DC's in a weird spot. They have some hits, but they got a lot of misses. They're trying to capitalize on their hits, but they also at times accentuate their misses. And the resounding thing I heard from everybody was they need to start the fuck over. They need to start over right now. Seems to me like DC is starting over. They brought in James Gunn. They brought in Peter Safran. They're developing their plans right now. There were things, I know a lot of people got excited for Black Adam because Henry Cavill promised his return to the role of Superman. He quit The Witcher to do it. That's an unfortunate situation for him. Don't cry. Don't cry for me, Henry Cavill. He's fine. He's going to be fine. You know, I would have loved to have one really solid, like, publicly respected Superman movie with Henry Cavill. right? I like Man of Steel. It's not perfect, though, okay? But I like Man of Steel enough. And I love every performance Henry Cavill has given in my canon, which is Man of Steel, BVS Ultimate Cut, and the Snyder Cut. But I mentally cut like at least an hour and a half out of it mentally after I watch it. Anyway. So I have been a proponent of the DCEU. But everybody, for me, it seems like the vast majority of people are like, start the fuck over. This is not working. And then all of a sudden, you find out that they were thinking about doing a Batman Beyond movie. Well, that's not part of the plan anymore because now the plan is to start over, it feels, right? No Wonder Woman 3. No Ben Affleck Batman. No more Aquaman with Jason Momoa after this one, right? All these changes. No Henry Cavill. That's what broke the internet's back this week. Henry Cavill's been out as Superman so many damn times. And everybody wanted the reboot. Everybody wanted them to start the fuck over. It feels like they're doing it. Now everybody's bitching. And we got this hashtag fire James Gunn and all that shit. Well, let me tell you what I know about James Gunn. I just know that James Gunn delivers movies that me personally, I really, really like. Is he going to be able to handle a giant project like this? I don't know. He's never had to do it. He was called to adventure, and he's accepted that call. And I'm excited to see what he's going to deliver. James Gunn has not disappointed me much in his filmmaking career. My biggest disappointment in James Gunn was the most recent Suicide Squad movie, which I didn't think was bad, but it just didn't work for me like Guardians did. Guardians 1 or 2, or even something like Slither, right? And I still need to see Super. That being said, Peacemakers was awesome. James Gunn knows how to deliver comedy. He knows how to deliver action. He knows how to deliver something interesting. He knows how to deliver heart and charm. I think this is the best thing to happen to the DC movies in a long time. I am excited for this. I am obviously taking the wait and see approach, but I have a lot of cautious optimism. Looking forward to one of my favorite blockbuster filmmakers of today take over the reins of DC, figure out what's going on. And if you're not down for that, I understand. If Gunn's ideas, his sensibilities, that's not for you, I understand. But it's ridiculous to me to see some of the exact same people in my personal life and online that straight up said, DCEU sucks. They need to reboot everything. Then we finally get the idea that we're getting a reboot and everybody's all pissed off about it. It seems like all of a sudden, people like the DCEU. Where were y'all for the last 10 years? Where were you in 2016 when I was standing alone saying I loved Batman vs. Superman? Where the fuck were you? Anyway, moving on. What Comic-Cons will PCP attend in 2023? The Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo. These are the ones that we know for sure. So there's one. Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo, we're there every year. MegaCon in Orlando. PCP's going to be there. Heroes Con. PCP's going to be there. Memphis Comic Expo. PCP's going to be there. Here are ones on the fence that I really want to do. Baltimore Comic Con is one I really want to do. Another one I really want to do. And it's all about timing and funds and all that kind of stuff. Scarefest. I definitely want to make it to Scarefest. I missed it this last year. Regrettably, want to make it there. So Scarefest is more likely going to happen. But Baltimore's around that same time too. So we gotta see how it works out. Baltimore is one I want to do. That one's one I want to do. And another one around that time is New York Comic Con. I've never been to New York, and I want to. So, but guaranteed, PCP will be at the Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo. We'll be at MegaCon. We'll be at Heroes Con. And we'll be at the Memphis Comic Expo. That's 4 guaranteed right there. Ouroboros says, speaking of James Gunn, I believe, there is certainly a healthy medium he could take for the universe. I just don't expect this correction to be reined in. Billy says he is not going to understand the lore or the DC fans. I lost the chat. I gotta get caught back up here. Send the gifts anonymous. No, let me know that it's there. Trade Paper Dad, if you send me something, I guarantee you, I will send you a foot video. Billy says the DCU would have been fine if the studio didn't interfere with everything. Well, they did, and unfortunately, we are where we are. Figure Drawing says, I want great Superman casting going forward. I want Gunn to have room to breathe and not bow down to execs. Yeah, I think to me the biggest thing, and this is what me and Rex talked about on our show Friday, we need Warner Brothers Discovery to step the fuck out of it and let James Gunn pick creators to create. I agree, Billy. It went through too many people's hands. It was supposed to go through one man's hands. I agree. I think hopefully that's what they're trying to do now. Steph says, I agree with you. I think Gunn will be able to find a balance. Ouroboros says he's got probably that Superman movie before he gets extended or his contract runs out. He's got like a 4 to 5 year contract, I believe, trying to develop a 10-year plan, so I would expect an extension. We're going to get some of the first full announcements at the beginning of the year, he says. He has been pretty open in discussing this on social medias, which I don't know if that's a good look, but it's being, I don't know. I like James Gunn, and I too regret not seeing Henry Cavill, but I think that he thinks, and I think it's probably the right way of thinking, that they need a clean start. The unfortunate thing is they still got 3 projects coming out this year that completely now get undercutted by this. Yeah, those movies are still going to come out. Warner Brothers has got to put up something this year in 2023. Yeah, what's up? Yes, why you gotta? I just call you gotta. What's up? No, I don't think they're going to shelve anything. Bueller says, best comic of the year, single issue, Ice Cream Man 31. Was that the mother, or is that the father-daughter issue? If it was, let me tell you something, Bueller. I agree. I listed that as my number 1 nomination for best single issue of the year. Well, I think 31 sounds familiar. I got the list right here, actually. For my favorite single issue, yep, Ice Cream Man 31 was my number 1. Agent of World 3 was my number 2. Red Room Trigger Warnings number 2 was my number 3. And Junkyard Joe number 1. Let me recap this. Let's recap this then. Steph didn't mean to delete anything. He had a slip up, so it's okay. All right, for my underrated comics of the year, I put Pink Lemonade, Beware the Eye of Odin, Above Snakes, and Girl Scout Stone Ghost. For best horror comic of the year, I put Department of Truth, Bone Orchard Mythos, Crimson Cage, and Red Room. For best publisher of the year, I put IDW, Scout, Fantagraphics, and Image. For best cover of the year, Red Room, number 2, Trigger Warnings, the Jim Rugg variant, the Charlie Brown one. Homesick Pilots, number 12, by Casper Wingard. Ice Cream Man 32, the MC Escher one. And Above Snakes 3 variant, the Hassan Otsman Howe lettering variant. For best single issue, I already told you all that. Best ongoing, I went Punisher, Firepower, Department of Truth, and Ice Cream Man. Best miniseries, I went Ghost Cage, Shaolin Cowboy, Do a Powerbomb, Agent of World. For best artist, I went Nick Dragata, Philya Batukin, Daniel Warren Johnson, and Jim Mahfood. For best writer, I went Jeff Lemire, Dan Waters, W. Maxwell Prince, and Dennis Camp. And for best comic overall, well, you have to watch the show or wait till my top 20 of the year comes out. Ouroboros says, I agree. I liked Gunn before this. I was quite a bit attached to the DCU is all. I was too, and I wanted to see it work, but it didn't work. And I don't think that it would be fair to bring in these guys, Gunn and Safran, and be like, make something out of this. Like, I think, I get it. It's a tough pill to swallow for some people that understand that we won't see that fully realized. It sucks. It sucks because it undercuts 10 years of our investment. It sucks. But do we want to see it continue to just die a slow death? Because that's what was happening, y'all. I don't want DC Films to be the redheaded stepchild of superhero movies. And who knows, some say we may be at the end of the superhero movie trend. And we're all kind of getting MCU fatigued. Even those of us that still love it. A lot of us are kind of getting, it's oversaturated, right? Either it's going to die a slow death or maybe DC can revitalize something. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Give us a fun Superman movie. They haven't tried to give us a fun Superman movie since Superman 3. So maybe it's time to give us a fun Superman movie. I think Gunn can do that. Steph, we get it, man. It was an accident. I'm sorry I mentioned that. Yeah, been bitching, man. Been bitching. Kid and Puke, what is up? How you been? Long time no see. How you doing? BVS to me is a damn near masterpiece. I love BVS, the Ultimate Edition. But I said this on Friday. How do you rebuild the DCU when you've already done the death and return of Superman? You know what I'm saying? So, Figure Drawing says the answer is be patient and hire a super think tank team of creative people, not a sole person like Gunn. I hope the new DCEU is not rushed, but it doesn't look promising. I don't think it'll be rushed. I think he's going to start small or with Superman and build out. We'll see what happens. Obviously, I don't know. None of us do. I get what you're saying, but Marvel in the beginning did the think tank thing and very quickly went out of that to one vision. And I think DC is trying to do that. I think they're trying to obviously recapture that, right? They're trying to be like, we need a Kevin Feige. But instead they picked two people because Safran is more on the business side of things, Gunn on the creative. And as much as I like Kevin Feige, I don't see him as a big creative force. If you dig what I'm saying, I feel like the MCU's missteps have come from when they have mistrusted their creators. I'm always on the side of creators over corporations, right? And that just comes from being a comic book fan. I am always on the side of creators over the corporation. I feel like James Gunn is going to find good creators and allow them to do the vision that they pitch. Unlike what DC has done with like Zack Snyder, where they didn't allow him to continue that vision because it was very divisive. Momoa will be playing Lobo, so kind of a good switch. Yeah, I think that could work. Hey, Lost in Comics is here right now. What's up? I was just plugging your show, brother. A total reboot would take time to create. Marvel did it in 5 movies. DC could do it. They got a Superman movie. That's probably going to be the first thing, a Superman movie. And then who knows what other projects. We'll see what the approach is going to be. We'll see if they take a phase approach or this or that. I think James Gunn right now is got an idea. He's going to start accepting pitches. He's going to start attaching creators, writers, and directors. I think he's got a slew of movies he wants to do to build up into something. And I think he's going to have people pitch those movies. And I think we'll get a Superman movie. We'll get a Green Lantern project. We'll get some things on HBO Max or whatever. We'll get some things here, but he wants to start bringing it in. I think he is going to take lessons from what Kevin Feige and the Marvel Studios line did, but I think he's also got some of his own ideas. I'm excited to see how it plays out. I don't think, and I've seen you say this before, and I understand kind of what you're saying, but I don't think it's rushed to reboot. Like, that's the wait and see thing. Like, here's a rushed thing to me is trying to kill Superman in his second fucking movie, right? With BVS, right? I think it's rushed to do that. I think it's rushed to try to go right into Justice League after that and build into Dark. I think that's rushed. As much as I love the Snyder stuff, and I do, I love Man of Steel to a point. There's some elements. I love BVS, the Ultimate Edition, and I like the Snyder cut of Justice League. But a total reboot just needs one movie, and then you have momentum. And we'll see what they do. Wouldn't it be nice to have a DC film in which the post-credit sequence actually mattered and meant something? I don't know. Just saying. Two Gun Pedro, pew pew. My opinion on James Gunn, I'm going to take the wait-and-see approach. Ouroboros Snake says, being a DC fan is emotionally exhausting. Same with being a Cowboys fan. Figure Drawing says, new Suicide Squad. I never need to see that again. Twitch says, Cavill was great for the role. It's just sad how he was wasted. I agree. Lost in Comics says, be patient, y'all. Love Cavill, but love Superman even more. Change is good, especially after the dumpster fire that DC movies have been over the years. Ken is in the house, says, here, bring on the obscure DC characters. Figure Drawing says, woke or not, Peacemaker was dope. Two words I really hate. Cringe and woke. God, I hate those words nowadays. Staying woke used to be a positive thing. It meant like eyes above and shit. It's to be aware. Lost in Comics says, unbelievable that the hate gun is actual hashtag. Hate is so easily conjured these days. Jay says, it's a waste of a good Superman. I agree. I don't think people have the patience for a 10-year plan for another cinematic run. Let us just have the patience for a movie. Give me a fun Superman movie that has some heart to it, and do it in, I dare you to do it in less than 2 hours and 15 minutes. I don't need no goddamn 3-hour Superman movie again. Come on, y'all. The 3-hour Batman movie? Come on, y'all. Lost in Comics says, Heroes Con, see you there. Bobby says, Planet Comic-Con, Kansas City. I'll be representing PCP. Bobby, when is Planet Comic-Con? Because we got some friends in that area, including you. Hey, Don's in the house. What is up? The Blue Beetle movie is still happening. Bueller says, remake Superman 3 with Dave Chappelle. Dude, that might work, man. I'll tell you what. Say what you will about Superman 3, and it is not a good movie. But it's got an ending that terrified my fucking kid ass. I'll tell you what. When I was a kid, that ending of that movie scared the shit out of me. When Chick becomes like one with the machine. Ugh. When we revisited the Christopher Reeve 4 Superman films for PCP Movie Night, we did that in April of this year. We had Ibrahim Mustafa on the show, who loves Part 4. But we all talked about that, like how that ending of Superman 3 terrified us. Why was that so scary? Jorm says, Flashpoint, then reboot, then a crisis, then reboot a couple more times till everyone is satisfied. Afro X, the Flash movie's still going to come out. They spent over $200 million on that, man. They're not going to be able to write that off. Twitch says they will start with the Trinity. They might have some other stuff early on, but the Trinity is the biggest focus. Blue Beetle can be worked into fitting into the new universe. I think we'll see. I think they're waiting to see what's going to happen. But I think anything that was in production before Gunn and Safran took over, I think it's out. I think it's done. Now, if the Blue Beetle movie is a success, doesn't mean that they won't do another one. If a movie makes money, they're going to make another one, you know? So, we'll see. Comic Toby says, what if, where'd it go? It was a funny comment. Where'd it go? I'm seeing a bunch of people talking about the term woke. Where the fuck did... Oh, there it is. What if James Gunn makes Batman Damned to screen and we get some Batweenus? I like that. That would be bold and daring, don't you think? Stay woke. They've been creeping. You know, until I saw the lyrics like a few weeks ago, I always thought he said, stay woke, be discreet. And like, that's a motto for me. Stay woke, meaning be aware and stay discreet. That's what I thought he said. Then I found out what I was like, okay, never mind. But yes, stay woke, they've been creeping. Twitch says woke still means that, unfortunately, some use it cynically. Yeah, woke was weaponized. Being woke was an old conspiracy term for those who knew. Just like when we talk about they. Yeah, it's actually a very important term for black people, yes. That's why when we were talking about, like, we were talking about Get Out this year on Horror Fest, and that was a very important thing to Jordan Peele to get away the wokeness of it, right? But it means something different to Jordan Peele than what it means in our current internet political situation, which I can't fucking stand. And yeah, Ezra's crazy ass. Everybody's lamenting, what about Flash? Everybody 2 months ago was be like, oh, I can't wait for this shit show of Flash to come out with crazy ass Ezra Miller. Ezra is nuts. I'm sorry. They are. March 17th through 19th. That's so close to some other ones. That's close to MegaCon and damn. I wish DC would do a big budget animated movie like Marvel is doing. I like my comic book heroes and villains animated more than the live action ones. Was that ending the inspiration for Cyborg Superman? Maybe, but it was more their inspiration for not doing Brainiac, but trying to do Brainiac. Something like that. Stay woke, be discreet. That's what I used to think. Let me get back to my actual notes for today. There we go. What are we doing next? All right, good segue. We're talking about the DCEU. This may have been one of the final nails in the coffin. And excited to talk about this. There'll be some spoilers for this one, but we're finally going to be talking about Black Adam. All right, Black Adam. So I finally watched it. It's on HBO Max right now. It dropped on Friday. It's all right. Now, this movie was first announced like 8 years ago or something. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, he's been really trying to get this project underway for a long time. And especially with the news of this week, watching this for the first time is kind of like, yep. This was kind of like the final nail in the DCEU coffin, I think. Like, if this would have been done 5 years ago, maybe there could have been some hope. But, alas, not so much. So, Dwayne Johnson as Black Adam, Steph is keen to say this, and I'll kind of parrot him real quick. The Rock does a great job of playing The Rock. He doesn't necessarily do a great job of playing Black Adam. I didn't pick up on any nuance in this performance. But it's not the kind of movie that's trying to give us nuance. It's trying to give us Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson playing Black Adam and the idea of a superhero who kills, right? And I mean, that's the thing. That's the vibe that we're getting. Dwayne Johnson is fine in the movie, but he is not 100% the comic book accurate Black Adam, but he does have some good deliveries. He's got some good bits there, and he is definitely a presence in this movie. They lean into the humor, and a lot of the humor for me actually kind of works in this movie, and a lot of it doesn't. What does work for me the best in this movie is the dynamic between Black Adam and Hawkman. So basically, Black Adam gets resurrected after 5,000 years. And immediately, the Justice Society, tasked by Amanda Waller, want to take this dude out. They already are like jumping to conclusions. They got that board game from Office Space, right? Where you jump to a conclusion. So they're doing that. They're vibing with it. And they're there to take him out. And Hawkman and his relationship, I guess we could say that, with Black Adam, these dudes hate each other, but there is a respect because they beat each other's ass a lot in this movie. My favorite part of the movie was the dynamic between Hawkman and Black Adam. And the dude that played Hawkman did a really good job. It was, I won't say 100% on brand with the character. It had a little bit more of a modern edge to it, but I think it worked. And I would have liked to have seen a Hawkman movie with this dude. Dr. Fate, played by Pierce Brosnan. Dr. Fate is awesome in the movie. He's great. The effects, the voice, the costume. Pierce Brosnan does a fantastic job. I would like to see a Dr. Fate movie with Pierce Brosnan. And then you got Cyclone, you got Atom Smasher. I thought they would be annoying, but they were actually pretty decent and cute, but they weren't essential to the movie, and they just kind of felt thrown in. You know, so the JSA, as cool as they were individually, or even their dynamics together, or with some of the other characters, including our man Hawkman, that man Hawkman with Black Adam, it just felt weird. It felt disconnected. If you didn't know anything about Hawkman, Dr. Fate, the Justice Society, I don't know if you're on board. You know, it just seemed weird that they show up. They don't get really, I mean, they get like a brief introduction and all that kind of jazz, but there was a lot more potential there and a lot more to mine. But instead, we got this story about this woman who's trying to protect this like throne or like crown of Sabak or some shit, right? So it's about her. She's got her brother, and we get some good comic relief from the brother, and I appreciate that. But her story, her whole story with this damn kid annoyed the shit out of me. This movie's got this kid. It's her son. He is basically Black Adam's emotional connection that grounds him at the end and has him actually become a hero. I could have done without all of that. More of this, more of that, more of this. So more of this, more of this, more of that, and less of this, and none of that. The kid just pissed me off. I don't even know what Jelani thought about this movie, but I bet he hates that kid. Then you get to the end, and the whole story is the Justice Society trying to take down Black Adam. And then all of a sudden, this crown of Sabak goes to this fucking dude. He becomes this like generic 3D demon dude at the end, and it's like the fucking final boss of a goddamn video game or some shit. And it's Black Adam dies, gives up his power, comes back, this and that. There's this twist where you think he's the kid at the beginning, but he's not. He's actually the kid's dad. It just was so hokey. It was rather silly. But at the same time, it was pretty enjoyable in some parts, right? Like The Rock was fun in his role. I would say this, and this is something that my buddy Jim Mint from Jim Mint Collectibles said. When we were talking about Hulk by Donny Cates one time, he said, it's not good, but it doesn't mean that it's boring. It's not boring. Black Adam is not good, but it's not boring. There are very tedious bits. To me, it's that fucking kid. I cannot stand that kid. I cannot stand the kid's mom. The brother, I'm cool with. The brother could have stayed. Get rid of the rest of them. Develop more of the Justice Society. Let that be the gist. I get that they have this thing. The big final thought, the big final villain and plot is thread throughout. It's thread throughout it, but it's such a weak little plot line where basically Kahndaq has been like ruled by other regimes for thousands of years. And now it's ruled by Intergang, and the effects were fine. Some of the effects seemed a little off, but for the most part, it was fine. The humor was okay. There just was weird and it was wonky. And It's very 90s. It's a 90s comic book movie. It's got that flair. It's got that vibe of like a 90s comic book movie. Pre-MCU era comic book movie. It feels like that. It feels a little too cheesy at times. So overall, I thought it was okay. I didn't regret watching it. It's not something that I'm keen to watch and rewatch over and over. I like The Rock in it. I like the Justice Society, but they could have been more of an important factor, more developed there. They do some stretches with the relationship between some of these JSA characters, but we don't really get to see any of it developed, or it's overdeveloped, if that makes sense. So like with the Fate and Hawkman thing, there's not enough groundwork laid. But then with the Cyclone and Atom Smasher thing, they're only there. I don't even know why they're there and not somebody else, to be honest with you. But they were fine. And the way they visualized Cyclone's powers, I thought was really cool. Atom Smasher was actually kind of annoying to me. It's just kind of dumb. But him and Hawkman, they had this whole like me and you later kind of thing. I loved Hawkman in this movie. I think I loved Hawkman was had the most personality and charm in this movie to me was Hawkman. I'll tell you this. This Black Adam movie should have been a Hawkman movie with Black Adam as the villain. And then they have to team up against a big threat, which they do in this movie, but the threat just, it doesn't necessarily come out of nowhere, but it's just kind of bullshit, and it's just wasted, and it's just silly. So overall, it's got some good, it's got some bad, it's got some ugly. So overall, I'm going to give Black Adam a very generous 3 ya digs out of 5. What about you? Let us know in the comments and the live chat. Out of 5 ya digs, what do you give Black Adam? I give it 3. All right, so there you go. Let's take a look at the chat. All right, here we go. Afro X says, woo, saw this the other day. It was lit. Steph says, it was announced in 2007 before the MCU. Afro X says, Black Adam was an absolute god. This was the role The Rock was designed for. Lost in Comics says, can you smell what Black Adam is? I do really like that bit at the end. He's like, tell him that the man in black sent you. It's fish out of water. It's there's nothing new that was done, though, for me. The power showcase at the beginning was absolute eye candy, super speed, and a war zone battlefield. Jay Burns says, I want a JSA movie now, though. Really dug all the characters. Twitch says, it was an okay movie, but the death of Dr. Fate was pointless. They created a MacGuffin only for it not to matter. AfroX says, Dr. Fate could have been so much better. DCEU Fate does not beat MCU Doctor Strange. Nothing is sitting there waiting with the old lady for the third Avatar or the 3D Avatar movie to start. Hope it doesn't suck. Same to you. Comic Toby's 420 says, I'm taking my $500 and investing in a Batman Key station. Good luck. Steph says, Black Adam felt like a comic book movie from the early 2000s with some dope action scenes. AfroX says, yeah, but the point of the side characters and the kid was so that there was a plot point and a subtext of heroes not necessarily being the good guys. Those characters were needed. Prime Axel says, it's an easy watch. Twitch says, Black Adam was about on par with Venom. I think it's maybe just a little bit better than Venom, but I get what you're saying there. Steph says, didn't need the kid to do that, Afro. Twitch getting some props on that comparison there with Venom. No, the demon was not Trigon. Is it Sabak or something like Sabat? Something like that. AfroX says, favorite line, I was a slave when I was alive, then I was reborn as a god, and I kneel before no one. The Rock to me was also just a little flat sometimes in his delivery, at least in my reading of Black Adam. And I really got into Black Adam during the Jeff Johns JSA run. But I feel like he's got a little bit more charisma than The Rock delivered a very flat performance in certain elements for me. Comics with Bueller gives it 2, you digs. Steph says 3 out of 5 is about right. Wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. AfroX says, I hated Hawkman because he was the police the whole time. He was the guy wagging the finger at Black Adam, who we're all rooting for, because he was the main character. William says 4 out of 5. Twitch says 2, you digs. I got to see it for free, taking a patient for an outing. Ouroboros says 3.5 for effort. Duffy says 3, you digs. I didn't hate it. Story was and it was stupid to kill off Dr. Fate. Bueller says, I watched it and I didn't understand why James Bond was in the movie. Because we're the Justice Society. And I'm like, and I know, but even me, I'm like, so who the fuck is the Justice Society? And why does Hawkman got like the Batcave fucking beat as far as his goddamn estate? Billy says it gets a 5 just because it has no competition in entertainment right now. Oh, and also, yeah, the ending with Henry Cavill, that's exciting. We're never going to get that. In fact, today, news outlets were reporting that The Rock has unfollowed Warner Brothers Discovery and Black Adam on social media. So it's done. And other things had come out that were basically saying that The Rock was trying to leverage the love of Henry Cavill into cementing his future in the DCU. The movie was underperforming. Seems like a lot of people dig it, a lot of people don't, a lot of people in the middle. I'm kind of in the middle. AfroX gives it 4 out of 5. I will say there were some unnecessary sequences. Kitten Puke says, Henry Cavill's bringing us Warhammer, though. That's fucking awesome. All right. So we've been going through Image in the 90s throughout this year. 1992 is when Image started. And I made sure this year that we were going to cover every first issue of an Image founder launch. Of that first, right? So we did Cyberforce. We did Youngblood. We did 10 episodes on Youngblood. We did Cyberforce, Youngblood, Wildcats. We did, what else? Shadowhawk last week. And we did Savage Dragon. And I thought, we don't really need to do Spawn. But then I figured out, you know what? Fuck it. Last show of 2022, let's do it. Spawn number 1. It's time for Image in the 90s. And we're talking about Spawn number 1 from Todd McFarlane. Come on, y'all. Let's dig into it. The first issue is called Questions, Part 1. Story, pencils, and inks by Todd McFarlane. So just for the Todd penciling and inking this book did not last long, but he still does the story. Never stopped, pretty much. Tom Orzechowski on letters. He was the letterer on the X-Men for the Chris Claremont era. Steve Oliff, who was the colorist. He was the colorist on the Akira Epic Collection volumes. So there you go. Dedicated to Jack Kirby. Let's get into it. When I was a kid, I liked this book. And then I kind of got snobby and pretentious, and I stopped liking Spawn, and I went actively against Spawn. But there was a piece of me that loved this back in the day, especially those. I had like the first 10 or 12 issues or something. So we basically start off with a look at the planet Earth. We get a bunch of like just random narration. This issue is called Questions, and rightly so, because it's just setting up the briefest of ideas of what this concept is. So our first glimpses of Spawn here, amazing coloring by Steve Oliff. I love the coloring in this shit. But he's just saying, I made a deal, I came back. Why? There's darkness in my soul. What's going on? Then we get to 1987. We get the 3 newscasters that we see in almost every issue of Spawn. And what I love about the early issues is we actually get references to actual news channels like CNN. They've since changed this, And then you got the more right-wing dude. Then you got the entertainment news dude. And what's crazy to me about this page is that Al Simmons is apparently was listed in the top 10 sexiest men of the year. Every news outlet's talking about Al Simmons' death. What the hell? And we at this point do not have any kind of strong connection that Al Simmons is the dude that we're talking about, right? But we get more of these glimpses. Because when we first start getting introduced to these ideas, this concept, and this character, he has an amnesia. Al Spawn has amnesia. He's getting little tidbits here and there. For instance, here we're getting references to his last mission, where Jason Wynn up there at the top basically gets Chapel to kill him, though they do change that later on. And he's got this vision of a woman and the vision of death, and he doesn't quite know what's going on. And once again, Todd McFarlane doing a decent job here. This isn't the stuff that we, at this point, know Todd McFarlane for. He had quit Spider-Man. He had kind of been semi-retired for a while, and when he came back, this was the first thing he had done, and it almost does feel just a little light on some of the arts. In fact, on the Cartoonist Kayfabe video on this issue, Jim Rugg says this was the first page that pops. But what Todd McFarlane used to always say is that you need 1, 2, 3 moments in a comic book to really sell it, right? And this is one of those moments where you're getting some interesting composition. You're getting good cityscape. You're getting a clearer, more defined look at Spawn's face, and then you really get that on the next page. You start getting some of his internal monologue. He's confused. He's starting to remember certain things. In the meantime, you got this badass centerfold right here, which is just super cool. And Spawn shows up in this costume with a very vague past, right? But he decides he's going to go and become a superhero, and he just starts killing gangsters, ripping hearts out of people and shit like that, right? So then on this page, we get introduced to Sam and Twitch, introducing us to the idea of these 2 police detectives who are going to be trying to solve these murders that are going to lead them to Spawn. So it's all set up. But now let's see some of this in action, because we've been hearing about some mysterious vigilante who may or may not remember who he is, showing up and just taking care of business. So let's see a little bit of it. There's an attempted rape going on. Spawn shows up. And y'all, if we thought Shadowhawk was hardcore, Shadowhawk's breaking spines, but Spawn is doing some crazy stuff too. We got a great sequence here, grabbing the dude, throwing him out of the window. Spawn is still shown in silhouette mostly, but we see all the badass folds in the cape, a little taste of his power, blowing those dudes away. So he actually is not quite as hardcore as Shadowhawk, because he literally is breaking spines. And then as he's trying to console this near rape victim, he kind of goes wonky. He gets these crazy PTSD flashbacks, right? And he flashes back. He sees Wanda, his wife. He sees her at his funeral. And then he sees his casket. He sees destruction. He sees a shattered image. And then now the victim who Spawn saved is now consoling him. And say what you will about this drawing, this is a rather powerful image of the victim consoling the hero, which I thought was pretty cool. Then we flash forward 5 years. This is where it gets a bit confusing. Did that last scene, did this happen 5 years ago in 87? No. We find out later that he pops up 5 years later. We're now establishing the idea of the date. But it does kind of come across a little clunky as far as the narrative goes, showing the passage of time with the way that these people have aged or have different hairdos, and even the dude at the bottom now is on E! Entertainment Television, because E! I don't know if it existed in 87. Pretty soon, though, he's going to have to drop that. He can't use those, right? Then we got Spawn. He's in this alley. He's talking who the hell am I? He takes off his mask. He's trying to remember what's going on. He finds out he's all burnt up. He looks at his hand. This is a great page. I remember this sticking with me when I was a kid. Then he just cowers into a corner, starts fucking crying. This is a rather sensitive hero, which is not something we had in 1992. I think we got to give Todd credit for that. Then let's touch base with Sam and Twitch. They're still investigating the crimes that are going to lead them to Spawn. And then we get the introduction of Malbolgia, the demon the devil that caused this deal with Al Simmons. In this first issue, we don't get a whole lot. We don't get a whole lot of explanation. We don't get a whole lot of what is going on. But on the reread, I intended on being kind of overly critical. But I rather enjoyed it. So there is my original copy from when I was a kid. This was given to me several years ago by my stepdad when he found a box of my old comics. Look at that. That's a newsstand, baby. I bought this, if I remember right, it was a grocery store. Maybe it was a gas station. But I remember buying this. There's my original copy. I think the art's great. It's not quite as dynamic as Spawn will become. It's not quite as dynamic as Todd McFarlane had been in the past. But the dialogue's not that bad. Now, Todd McFarlane nowadays as a writer is really heavily verbose. And they do have its verbose pages. But for the most part, it's very Frank Miller influenced. Like that staccato kind of narrative that you get in like Frank Miller stuff. You get a little bit of that, but then you start getting this Chris Claremont stuff. So McFarlane's writing influences back in these days are definitely, to me, Claremont and Miller. And I wish he would have leaned more into the Miller. He's more firmly rooted into the Claremont stuff. But love the way that this prints on newsprint. This is before they went to glossy pages. Or I don't know if there's a difference between the newsstand, but I'm pretty sure that all of them didn't have the glossy pages at first. Great artwork there. Spawn just instantaneously recognizable. This one, of course, because I didn't rip this out, still has the poster. Oh my God, that's awesome. I almost want to get another one of these so I can rip that out and hang it up. Love the artwork. Love the coloring. Steve Olaf nails the coloring here. Also, by the way, what's his name? Ken Stacy doing the airbrush painting digital, like not digital coloring, but like physical, like airbrushy type coloring there. This is when Todd McFarlane didn't quite know if he wanted to have the nose or nose. They took off the nose eventually. Very powerful moments here. I got to give Todd credit for this. It doesn't sell you like a first issue should be maybe more clean, more understanding. But Todd knew what was going on. He knew that the kids were going to keep coming back for these issues, at least for the first year. And we definitely did. And it's actually it's a better first issue than I gave it credit for. Then we got a Pitt ad right there and a George Perez Spawn pinup. George Perez Spawn pinup. Then we got this really long editorial where he basically describes the plight of the comic book creator, Jack Kirby. He mentions in particular, and why they influenced him along with the others to start Image Comics. This book is bold. It's kind of daring. It's narratively interesting. It's got amazing artwork. It doesn't go full board in its first issue, and other people would. I don't know if Todd's intentionally holding it back, but it almost feels like that's what he's trying to do. All in all, what an absolute fantastic issue of Spawn. It's a good first issue. It's not my favorite Image #1. I would definitely give that to Savage Dragon #1. But Spawn #1, even though I recollected it not really delivering a lot of explanation or anything, it does set up an interesting enough mystery, and enough information is given that it had me come back. There's that George Perez again for y'all. That being said, having been reading Spawn for a while now, and having read most of the first 100 issues, and now with this, I'm officially restarting my reread. I'm going to try to do one issue a day, and then get caught up fully on Spawn. But knowing now more of the story, it's easier to pick up on some of those threads. So this is definitely a slow burn. It's a slow start, but I loved it. Still good. Thought it was awesome. I would give Spawn #1 a very generous 4.369 you digs for an issue #1. Great art, great coloring, great lettering, and a decent enough story. Slightly incoherent, but decent enough. What do you think about Spawn #1? What are your recollections? And out of 5 you digs, what do you give it? This has been Image in the 90s. All right, we're taking a quick break. When we come back, Batman, here on Rockin Robbie Live.
Hey there, everyone. Come check out the experience this Monday, December 19th at 6 p.m. Eastern. A lot's going on. Christmas is coming. All the holidays are coming. And as a special holiday treat, we're going to have 3 giveaways this show, so you definitely don't want to miss it. You know, along with all our other Dynamite titles and Marvel and DC. It's going to be fun. So it's going to be Rex and John and I think it's Robbie. Yes, Robbie's on Monday. I'll be there with Nick and all of us are going to be here. It's going to be a great time. So remember, it's the 19th of December, 6 p.m. It's a Monday, only on The Experience. Can't wait to see ya.
What's up, everybody? Station Pop Pop Boom. Welcome back to Rockin Robbie Live here on Pop Culture Philosophers, the show where we gather and talk about movies, comics, and a whole lot more. We've had a great show already. DC sneak peek. We talked about Black Adam. We did Image in the 90s. We revisited Spawn #1, and we had a nice conversation about James Gunn there. It's been a great show. Coming up, we got Batman, Show and Tell, the Final 5, and even more, because we do get to unbox 2 of these McDonald's I almost called them Happy Meal toys, pop figures, the last in my collection. We're going to unbox these because we hit the $10 Super Chat level. So to explain, you can support the channel with the Super Chat, and we got some goals tonight. For $10, we unbox the Funko Pops. That's done. For $20, we will unbox this Gremlins NECA action figure, Gizmo. That means $10 more. These are cumulative totals. So the next $10 that come in, we'll unbox that. For $30, so 20 more, we will unbox this King Randor. And for $50, 40 more at this point, we will unbox this Slug/Slag. And the $100 one, we're not going to hit that. But if we got 100, we were going to do the Seeker Triple Pack unboxing. But all the support we need is you being here, liking, sharing, subscribing, participating in the conversation. You can also support over at patreon.com/these, like these, patreon.com/PCP, like these PCP patrons right there. You can also follow us on Facebook and on Instagram. If you're on Facebook, join the PCP Army. That's the official Pop Culture Philosophers Facebook group. You can follow me on Twitter at The Rockin Robbie. You can find podcasts and more at popculturephilosophers.com. You can claim $15 in credit from whatnot.com/invite/The Rockin Robbie. You can save 10% on any order at dynamicforces.com with code Robbie. So there you go. Also, the first annual Rockin Robbie Live gift exchange is going on, holiday gift exchange, in the pinned comments here on the live chat. I have my Amazon wish list. If you choose so, you can buy something off of that wish list for me, send it to me, and anybody who sends me something, I will send them something back. So make sure I know that it comes from you. Coming up here on the channel, PCP Movie Night is taking a break for a while, but we return in January with They Live, and then Clerks, and then Taxi Driver, and then Surf Ninjas, and then Inside Llewyn Davis, and then Flash Gordon, and then Cyborg. And Dylan's Horror Show is off for this week. But next week, we're doing a special Friday show, possibly on Friday, for New Year's Eve on the 30th. We're talking about Terror Train. Really excited to talk about this one, but Scarpad Sci-Fi Sojourns is a go tomorrow. They're going to be talking about Children of Men. So catch that after my show over at the EXP. All right, when we last left, we were doing the Image in the 90s. So I see some ratings here for Spawn. You should bag and board that one. It was bagged and boarded. I took it out of the bag and board to read it and then show it off. So there's my original copy that I had when I was a kid. Evil says, I actually met Chris Claremont down at Jim Hanley's Comics on 33rd Street in Manhattan. Quite a nice fellow. We had a conversation about how he helped George Lucas with Willow. I've met Chris Claremont 3 times at 3 different shows. He's back at the Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo this year. For the most part, all my interactions with Chris have been absolutely splendid and amazing. Actually, I've met that dude 4 times. One time, I had a sour interaction with him. But I'm not going to let that bother me. How is the Spawn animated series? I remember really, really liking it as a teenager, but I haven't seen it since then. Definitely something to unpack one day. Bobby says, for Spawn #1, 3.5 you digs. Afro gives it 5. Ouroboros says 5 you digs. More fantastic tunes. Yeah, some Chrono Trigger. Yeah, I get you. Steph says, I'm with Brother Bobby, 3.5 backlogs. And hey, since it's the holiday season, we'll accept slips as equal currency and you digs too, Robbie. Don't forget about you. Well, thank you. Steph didn't forget about me. Hell yeah. Afro says, They Live is good, love Clerks, and really anything Kevin Smith. William is updating us on the Giants and Commanders score. 14-9 New York. Hell yeah. All right, we're going to be getting into the second episode of Batman the Animated Series here pretty soon, but if you guys have anything else you want to talk about, go ahead and throw it out in the chat right now. I hope everybody, let me go ahead, because I'll probably forget to say this, but let me just go ahead and say, I hope everybody's having a great holiday season. No matter what you celebrate, this is a time of the year where we all recognize the solstice, we all recognize certain ideas of new beginnings and endings and fellowship and greetings and peace and love and hope and joy. And regardless of your situation or your station, I hope everybody's having a great holiday season, and happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Yule, Yuletide greetings, Happy Solstice, and Happy Kwanzaa as well. All that stuff and more. So I hope everybody has a good solstice this year. And part of our holiday celebrations for 5 years now has been the Festivus stream. So join us for our 5th annual Festivus stream on Friday night. It's either going to be 7 or 8 Central. I have to nail that down actually. Anyway, our 5th annual Festivus stream, we'll be erecting the Festivus pole. We'll be airing our grievances, and we'll be having feats of strength displayed before your very eyes. And we got a super chat from Bueller, which means $9 more and we unbox the Gizmo figure. Thank you, Bueller. Love you, bro. Merry Christmas. You know, it seems like we're having some of these audio issues, but Bueller keeps throwing them dollars at. We're at 13 right now, $7 away from opening the Gizmo figure, but we're going to go ahead and try to do the Hellboy song anyway. All right, thank you so much, Bueller. Really do appreciate that so much, my man. So cumulatively, we're now at $15, so $5 to unlock the unboxing of the Gizmo. It's from NECA. Look how adorable it is. This Gizmo, once out of this package, $5, you make it happen. And $15, we open up this King Randor. We got the $5 from Afro X. We're opening up the Gizmo figure. $10 more. We open up the King Randor, everybody. Let me tell you about this little man I know. His name is Bueller. He went out into the country one day not too long ago, don't you know? He said, I've had it up to here with this rat race. I'm gonna go out on my own pace. I'm gonna do it in a van, don't you know? I'm gonna park it next to a river in the snow. My name is Comics with Bueller. What? That's off key. And I know I'm the one with the van and the plan to visit all this America land. If only Bueller could get bus across the ocean without spending too much money on any kind of commotion. He'd go international. Oh, we love you, Bueller. Don't you know how you are, how you roll? We think that you are the swellest of all of us. Don't you understand? We all look at you and we just want to put in our trust and I don't know what I'm saying, but I'm just gonna keep on going because I gotta let y'all know that this man named Travis Noakes, oh no, his name is Bueller to me forever and ever, and he is my only best friend. Love that, Bueller. He's the man with the plan and the van, and he's going. He gave me a blade $10 from Bueller. We've hit our King Randor goal. Merry Christmas, brother. Love you, Bueller. Thanks so much, Bueller. Love you. You didn't have to do that, but thank you so much. We appreciate all the super chats, all the support. We really do appreciate it. We hit the King Randor goal. That's awesome. That means $20 more and we open up the slug. Don't worry, though. All the support we need is you being here tonight. Oh, shit, look at Robbie go. That was my Bueller serenade. It won me a $10 tip from Bueller, so thank you so much. One time somebody asked me, how close do you think what you do is to what like webcam girls and webcam guys do? And I'm like, it's not that different. Let's be honest. You throw some dollars, I'll sing the Hellboy song. You throw some dollars, sometimes I'll take a shot. You throw some dollars, sometimes I'll open a toy. It's just, it is what it is. But I love being here, y'all. And I really appreciate y'all because you help support the channel. You keep the dream alive. You keep the lights on. You keep the buses rolling. And we got $1 super chat from Comic Toby. $31. 19 more to unlock the Slag figure, even though they call it Slug. I've seen his feet. It's no different. No, Bueller, I don't think you've ever seen my feet. You've seen my socks. I'll tell you that. You've seen my feet in socks, but you ain't never seen my feet. But trade paper, Dad, for real. If you send me something on the Rockin Robbie gift exchange, I'll send you a picture of some feet. I'll send you a picture of some foot. You might like it too. You never know. Anyway, we got some toys to unbox. We have some fun. Okay, Duffy with $2. 33, 17 more dollars. And we can unbox this thing. They call it a slag, apparently, is a derogatory term in the UK. So they now call it slug. But it's slag to us. Still slag to us. You'll never forget them hobbit feet. I got big feet, but they're not super hairy. They're not super hairy. I'll be honest with you. They're not super hairy. All right. It's time for our newest favorite segment. Our newest favoritist segment. Let me get it lined up right so that we don't mess this up. All right. Y'all get excited. We're about to do Dat-Man Batman. We saw your feet when Mike doused you with water for the ale. Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that video, Toby. I need to take that off. Bueller says, we pay Robbie to drink and open toys. This man is a genius. Love you, Bueller. We pay you to fucking drive around, goddamn camp out. Actually, Bueller, I don't envy you because it seems like you break down like every 2 months. And it's just like you have like a stressful weekend and then the community rallies around you. So love you, Bueller. I wish you safe journeys. How's the bus holding up? Is it doing good? But yeah, I don't mind taking super chats to sing, open toys, or drink. So there you go. We don't do the drinking super chat menu very often though. I can't do that very often. They're very productive for us here at PCP, and they're good fundraising episodes to do. However, if I did that every week, I would definitely have a problem. Trust me. All right. I broke down twice. Bus is great. Good. Now, I just always get worried about you, man. I watch too many horror movies, Bueller. I get so worried about you out there. I'll tell you this, man. If you break down in Texas, do not just walk into some random house in the country. That's how Texas Chainsaw Massacre starts, and it doesn't end well. But I love you, brother. We need to institute the bong hit super chat. I'm going to tell you this. I would love to do that. I live in an alcohol state, not a marijuana state. So I don't know the legality of that. I guess I could say that it's Delta 8 or 9. That shit's legal now. So yeah, maybe we should institute a CBD Delta 9 bong rip super chat level at some point. Let's do that. Actually, that's not a bad idea. I haven't ripped a bong in so long. I just always use the pipe or the one hitter now, and I need to start working on. Write this note down. Start working on bong. Yeah, next time we do a super chat menu like that, we'll do it. $20 from number one $20 from number one drama queen Station. We're opening up some toys tonight. Thank you so much. Really appreciate the generosity and the super chats. Let me tell you about this little man I know. His name is Hellboy. He was sent to the earth some long time ago to save it or destroy. Brought to this earth by Rasputin, son of a demon and a nana who had no sex with the demon. but was raised by Professor Broom. Now he fights evil and monsters. Shit. Now he fights with the man who's a fish named Cleve. Now he fights with the fire starter named Liz. And an ectoplasmic mess named Johan. PPOD. Wow! Thanks so much, number one drama queen. And yes, that may be Canadian dollars. I don't know what the exchange rate is right now, but a 20 counts as 20 because our super chat menu is very easy. So we're at 53 right now, which means $47 away from our final super chat goal of the night, which is opening up this Seeker triple pack, which has Sunstorm, Ion Storm, and Acid Storm. But all the support we need is a like, a share, and subscribe. All right. Thank you so much. That was y'all have been very generous tonight. Here's to you. Have a cup of cheers and have a cup of tears and a cup of cheers. It's the holiday season. Station, everybody. Bueller says, remember when you were on a foreign TV show talking about bugs? I think it was bugs. Yes. I was invited a while ago. This is like, I guess 2019. It's early 2020 because I remember I was invited on a news program, a British produced news program that was aired on Turkish television. So I was on a news program in Turkey as an expert on the pop culture representation of locusts. So locusts, if you remember, there was a locust plague before like the pandemic really hit here. And I remember this because the pandemic was one of their topics on that show, right? Because I've watched the whole show. And one of their topics was the COVID stuff coming out of China. And how it just hit in like Europe and America had a couple cases. And then like a month later, shit went crazy. But there was a locust plague in West Africa, I believe. And I was brought on to this British-produced news program aired on Turkish television to talk about the representation of locusts in pop culture. How fucking weird, y'all. But I did it. I had to be there at like 7:30 in the fucking morning. So I had to sit here and I just waited and waited. Like they were like, okay, you're good to go. Just wait. Because I guess it was aired live. But the weird thing about that was that I was able to hear what they were saying and I could see it. And like, even when they were bringing me in, the host of the show was basically talking shit about the whole idea of having me on. Because he's like, we've already been running long. Why are we bringing this person in? We should just cut this segment. It doesn't make sense. Why are we doing this? And then, like, I show up, and then he, like, instantaneously, when we go live, he, like, turns on the charm and shit. And it's just such a weird-ass experience for me was being on that. I have to share that again in the PCP Army. I have to find that again and share it. I'm glad that Bueller was there. Bueller was actually there. He commented on the video, I remember, when they posted it on YouTube. Good shit. So random. I know, right? And I remember even thinking, I was like, have I made it? Like, is CNN going to be calling next? Somebody saw me. I don't know what I don't know how. And, like, the crazy thing is they've never called again. They've never, you know what I'm saying? So I wasn't too good of it. I was even thinking, I was like, they may call like every so often for me to like do some kind of bit with them, right? Nope. But I think I did a great job, and everybody in my life thought I did a great job. Bro, they asked me to talk about the history of locusts in pop culture. I researched the hell out of that, and I gave them everything I had, man. There you go. So random. All right. We got to reset mentally. We've had a lot of fun here over the last 30 minutes or so. Thank you, John. I remember even being like, I don't think I'm going to do this. This seems so random. Like, and then people were like, if you don't do this, I think Mike was the one that told me this. He was like, if you don't do this, you'll regret it for the rest of your life. So I got it, man. I was like, it's so cool, man. Even today when I watch shit like CNN and shit, and I see them like, or even ESPN, and I see them bring in somebody via satellite, as they used to say, and they're on their big screen, I'm like, I've been there. I know what that's like. ESPN, call me. Let's get a pop culture perspective on this year's NBA season or some shit. Hey, Dylan's in the house. Station Dylan. Hey, Dylan, I just want you to know, I've already been promoting that we're doing the Terror Train show Friday, December 30th. So if you change that or decide to cancel it, that's all on you. You're going to have egg on your face. But I know that we're going to do it because I'm ready to talk about that movie. I'm excited. That movie's really good. Dylan, you son of a bitch. All right, I've been too distracted lately. We just had a whole shebang. No, I never watched Courage the Cowardly Dog. I mentioned a lot about like its representation in Egyptian mythology and legend. I talked about they wanted me to talk about an Ant-Man villain, so I did, and so I did that. But I was trying to drive home the idea of why we fear locusts and shit. I don't fucking know what I was trying to do, man. I mean, I was trying to make this idea that locusts are alien, they're freaky, they're otherworldly. I was so nervous, y'all. I was so nervous because when I do my live streams, I'm so lax here. You know, I'm drinking, I'm vaping, I'm smoking, I'm toking. I'm doing all my normal jam. I'm just having fun. This is how I hang out with my homies. You know what I'm saying? When I'm on other people's shows, for the first time, I get a little bit nervous, but then I ease into it, right? For the most part, when I'm on streams with other people, this is what it is. But for this one, it was 7:30 in the morning. I'm like, well, I can't drink nothing. I was like, so I'll get a little high. I'll have my vape, but I can't. I even made sure to like not wear a hat. Like I wasn't wearing a hat because I was like, they won't want me to wear a hat. So I didn't wear a hat, and I had like little earbuds in, so I wasn't wearing like a big giant fucking headset or nothing. It was so fucking weird. So weird. John says this hit close to home because my uncle's wife left him for a locust. Yeah, there is a locust villain. That's what we were talking about, Bobby. I mentioned, like, they put it together. It was a really nice show, to be honest with you. I don't know why. Like, this is a heavy news show. On this episode, they're talking about a locust plague in West Africa. They're talking about the COVID pandemic starting. And they bring Rockin Robbie from Pop Culture Philosophers from Alabama, as the British guy would say. From Alabama. and to talk about goddamn some random Ant-Man villain. How fucking weird, man. How fucking weird. $47 more to go until we open up the triple pack Transformers, by the way. All right. Let's get this on the road. I know y'all been waiting for the next Perry bit. Here we go. All right, it's time for everybody's favorite newest segment here at PCP on Rockin Robbie Live. It's time for Batman. All right, and tonight we're talking about Episode 2 in the production order of Batman the Animated Series. We're talking about Christmas with the Joker. How appropriate. Y'all a few weeks ago begged me, not begged, y'all didn't beg, but y'all agreed that we should do a Batman Animated Series retrospective episode by episode. And it just was so perfectly timed that the second episode is Christmas with the Joker. So let's get into it. Christmas with the Joker. Directed by Kent Butterworth. That sounds like a fake name. Written by Eddie Godorowski. I messed that up too. We start off with Arkham Asylum. And it's Christmas time in Gotham. And we go in and we got all of the inmates of Arkham Asylum singing Jingle Bells. And then there's the Joker. So this is the first appearance of the Joker in the Batman Animated Series. Mark Hamill as the Joker for the first time. Here we go. And he says, he does the whole Jingle Bells, Batman smells, Robin laid an egg thing, and he climbs up to the top of the tree, which just so happens to be a rocket, and he takes off and escapes from Arkham on like Christmas Eve or something. Then we cut to Wayne Manor, and in there we get introduced to Robin for the first time. So this is the very first episode that features Robin as well. And this is Dick Grayson Robin, though he's dressed like Tim Drake. It was the appropriate choice. And they're in the Batcave, and Batman's ready to go out on patrol. And Robin's like, come on, man, it's Christmas Eve. Let's just chill in, have some dinner, and watch It's a Wonderful Life. And Batman's like, I've never seen that movie. I hated the title. And he's just like a big Grinch throughout all of this. But Dick says, hey, Bruce, if we go out there and no crimes are out there, if there's no inherent need for us to be out on the streets tonight on Christmas Eve, can we please just go home, have some dinner, and watch It's a Wonderful Life? Batman agrees to it, so they go to Gotham, and everybody's being happy, cheerful, and joyful, and having a great holiday time. Everybody's just hunky-dory. Nobody's committing any crimes. But then Batman spies something. Robin's like, see, I told you, nothing's going to be messing up. But he sees this dude running after this old lady. So Batman swoops in. But nah, she just dropped a package, and he came to return it to her. So Batman is foiled again, and Dick Grayson, Robin, says, hey man, let's go back to the cave. You lost the bet. Time to watch It's a Wonderful Life. So Alfred, who was still voiced by that dude who did his voice in the first episode, not the best Alfred voice, but it's decent enough, I guess. Dinner's about to be prepared. They go to sit down and watch It's a Wonderful Life. And Bruce this whole time is being a complete Scrooge, right? But It's a Wonderful Life is not there. It's actually the Joker. And in a very common Batman-specific and just superhero-specific, but Batman-specific trope, he has taken over the airways of every channel, and he's broadcasting a Christmas special, Christmas with the Joker, while he's also terrorizing the citizens of Gotham City. So he's broadcasting this special. It's got lots of hijinks and gimmicks, and it is interesting that the very first Joker episode of Batman the Animated Series, we don't actually see him in his full gear, and Bruce Timm even says in the behind-the-scenes features and stuff that it took them a while to really define how hardcore, like how they wanted to approach the Joker in this series, because he's an evil, chaotic character, but this is still a show made for kids. So it took them a while to find that balance. By the way, I love the audience for the Joker. It's a bunch of cardboard cutouts of like Gotham's finest and shit, right? I absolutely love that bit there. So Batman is like, see, I told you, Robin, the Joker's up to no good. There's crime tonight on Christmas. So the Joker has kidnapped 3 prominent Gotham citizens, and he's threatening to kill them unless Batman can find them by midnight. Now, these 3 citizens are Commissioner Gordon, this chick who we're introduced for the first time. I believe she's the typical Gotham News reporter, and then we got Harvey Bullock. So they take off in the Batmobile, but they're still watching the show. Batman's got some fast technology. Joker shows up and explains the whole idea that these people are going to die, Batman, unless you can find me by midnight. And that's why I think this, I'm pretty sure this is Christmas Eve, because midnight's Christmas, but I could be wrong. Maybe it's It's Christmas. It is what it is. But he then explains and shows this model of Gotham City. He's got this stupid little like hand puppet shit going on too. But the model is representative of an actual train bridge in Gotham that he's got some henchmen out there. They just blow the shit out of this station. So, or this train track, this bridge. So Batman has to spin around and go and save this train. They jump from the Batmobile to the train. Robin disconnects the passenger cars. They get away safely. Then Batman goes and gets the engineer, and the first couple cars go off and explode, but they save all of the people. The Joker's pissed off about it. And then Batman starts getting a trace on the location of the signal, but Joker starts continuously putting up all of these false traces, false signals, and all these little traps for them to go and take out. But Batman takes all of them out to the Joker's dismay. He then has the news reporter open up a package, and in it is what they call a Betty Booper doll. And the Betty Booper doll gives Batman the clue that he needs, that the old toy factory, the LAFCO building, that's where the Joker's at. And look at that set. Look at that art. Look at the design of this LAFCO building. It is awesome. So freaking creepy. So they go in. There's the Joker doing his broadcast. He throws out a bunch of Christmas-centric giant death traps to Batman and Robin. They easily defeat them. And then, my favorite part of this whole episode, he shows up and he's got Gordon, Bullock, and the news reporter hung over like some hot lava or some shit, right? And he's threatening to cut the rope, right? And drop them down and kill them. All he wants is for Batman to open this present, or he's going to kill these people. So Batman decides, I'll do it. I'll take one for the team. I'm going to open this present. And I remember even watching this as a kid, and even today, the timing on this is so perfect. Batman opens up this present, which we think is some kind of death trap. And he gets a pie to the face, to which the Joker just hysterically laughs. It is such a perfectly timed comedic moment. It is spot on. And then he cuts the goddamn rope anyway. The victims fall. The kidnapped victims fall. Batman jumps up, saves them. Robin's kind of just standing around. But Batman's like, hey, make sure they're safe. Then he chases the Joker. There's a random roller skate on this, like, passageway, the stairway up there, right? It's catwalk. He trips on the roller skate and then almost falls to his death, but Batman saves him. And then that's it. And then they go back to Wayne Manor. Batman has eaten his Christmas dinner. He's watched It's a Wonderful Life. And he's like, Alfred comes in. He's like, it's not so bad, Master Bruce. It is a wonderful life. And Bruce is like, you know what? Maybe. A little cheesy of an ending there, but we'll allow it because it's a Christmas episode. And then we go back to Arkham Asylum, and Joker is in a cell by himself singing Christmas songs maniacally, and we get some amazing shots here as the camera pulls out and we see his very German expressionistic cell at Arkham. And that was Christmas with the Joker. All in all, I really liked this episode. I thought it was solid. It's not the best Joker episode that the Batman animated series has. It does take a while for them to define how far they want to push that character, how kid-friendly they want to make it, and how far they want to push it. Harley Quinn really helped with that, right? Harley Quinn really helped kidify the Joker a little bit, but still allow him to be menacing, threatening, and, I mean, he's trying to kill these people. You know what I'm saying? All in all, it's a great episode. I love the timing with the pie in the face. It's not as good as On Leather Wings. On Leather Wings is one of the best Batman animated series episodes. This is not one of the best. It's not one of the best Joker episodes, but it's very much a strong idea. This show was not shown or aired in chronological order, the production order that we're covering right now. But it was very smart, I think, for them very early on, and most shows will do this in that day, to release a Christmas episode because it's an easy pick to always play around Christmas time. So it's something that you could watch every single year. I know people that do watch this episode every year. It might become a holiday tradition for me. I loved it. I thought it was great. It's not perfect, but it's solid. It's good. And Mark Hamill's first appearance as the Joker and Robin's first appearance. So overall, I would give Christmas with the Joker a solid 4 Yuletide ya digs here on what we like to call
Batman.
All right, so there you go, everybody. Batman. Take a look at the chat. Christmas with the Joker is a great one, says Bobby. Goobers and Peters, says Bueller. I don't understand what we're talking about there. Steph says, that's cool that Joker first showed up in a Christmas episode. He sees that kid bringing the lady her purse back. Yeah, the package, right? Vicky Vale. What? I don't know. Do they call her Vicky Vale? I'll have to pay attention to that. They didn't name her in this one. But that would be cool. Obviously, they're spinning a lot of this out of some of the ideas from the Tim Burton films. Money Shot. Nothing like good old-fashioned slapstick humor. Almost as good as the current Joker cover. Make a live-action movie like this and make millions and save the DCU. Mark Hamill and Kevin Conroy, too big to fail. We call it the Mariah effect. I absolutely loved the pie in the face because it's just, that's all the Joker really wants, man. The whole goddamn thing is a build-up to him just getting a pie in the face of Batman, and I love that. You can tell that they're trying to take a more kid-friendly approach to the Joker here, where he's doing murderous things, or the idea of it, but everybody gets saved. They didn't know how to kidify the Joker yet and still make him the Joker that they wanted to do. And the Joker that we got in 1989, they're trying to balance that, and it takes them a minute, but they do eventually do it. That guy Perry is talented. I agree. I wonder if this was one of the Sunrise episodes. I don't recall which ones they made. I don't know for sure, John, if it was or if it wasn't. I know that they only did like 7 or 8 episodes total. I would tell you that I would doubt that this is a Sunrise animated episode because the animation on Leather Wings was so fucking phenomenal and fantastic. The animation on this one, not as good. So I should have looked that more up. There were 5 or 6 different animation studios that did all of this stuff. So, yeah, I don't think... Yeah, Sunrise did that first episode we talked about last week. Right? Let me look at my notes for last week. Maybe I'm getting it wrong. There was... Now, last week, the first episode is done by Spectrum Animation. I don't know which one Sunrise did then. Let me see if we can find out. Because surely that information exists. And all we got to probably do is go to Wikipedia. It's the only one written by Eddie and directed by Kent. Originally, Tim Curry performed the role of the Joker, but Curry's performance was seen as too scary by the producers, so he was replaced after recording 3 episodes. Wow, I didn't know. I don't know if I really noticed that. Wiki's not telling me who actually did it. Maybe somebody can help me. I know this information's got to be out there. Oh, Batman Animated has a whole wiki page. It doesn't say anything about that. It's just the same shit. Well, maybe somebody can help us out here. I'd like to see the Tim Curry dub. That'd be interesting. Yeah, me too. Me too. Pretty Poison, The Cat in the Claw, Part 1 of Heart of Steel, I Am the Night, The Clock King, Off Balance, and The Man Who Killed Batman. What I love about Spectrum is they did some of the best ones. Because Spectrum did that first one. They did Heart of Ice. They did the first episode of Robin's Reckoning, I know. They did POV. So those are all the Sunrise ones. Thank you, John. Isn't it interesting to see that different animation studios did like different parts of like a 2-part episodes? Anyway, Perry is a very talented individual. Let's go through that one more time.
Batman.
Perry's the GOAT. Perry, thank you so much. All right. It's time for show and tell. Got some comics here. First of all, I want to show off this brand new trade paperback of Beware the Eye of Odin. I actually think it comes out this week in shops. I thought it came out last week, but I had gotten a copy early from Tim Odlin. Sent me his business card as well. But inside of here is a really nice note from Tim I want to read. It goes, Robbie, thanks for all the kind words about our book. I really enjoyed being on the show. I don't know if Doug asked you about using your quote, but if not, thank you. And I hope it will get some of the unknowing to check out your channel. I watch it every week to see what's coming out. Keep up the good work. I signed the book and remarked it for you. Thanks, my friend, Tim Odlin. So that's awesome. So this is the book, Beware the Eye of Odin, one of my favorite books of the year, an underrated book. There's the remark and the signature that he did. And of course, as he alluded to, there's the pull quote from yours truly. A delightfully fun tale with exciting and dynamic artwork. This is one of my favorite books of 2022. Pop Culture Philosophers. You can't really see it too well there. There you go. Look at that, y'all. That's our second pull quote on a trade paperback. Station Tim, Station Doug, that was awesome. All right, I ordered this from Floating World Comics so long ago, and it was out of print, but I guess they put it back in print. But I finally got my copy of Apocalypse 5000. So this is it Ken or Tom? Ken Landreth comic. He did New York City Outlaws, which I want so bad. But what I love is that right here at the back, it says New York City Outlaws is being reprinted in 2022. Now, obviously not. So hopefully in 2023. But look at this awesome cover. So this is a comic that was in the back of New York City Outlaws, like issue 3, 4, and 5. It's Power Comics. It's Outlaw Comics. It is something I've been really wanting to sink my teeth into. And I'm really pumped to actually finally have this. So, expect a report in early 2023 about this. But I cannot wait to get my hands on the New York City Outlaws because those are hard comics to come by. All right, then I got some movies here. First of all, I did pick this up on DVD. Party Girl, didn't have it. Love me some Parker Posey. We were talking about this. It's not available on Blu-ray. I decided to snatch up the DVD. Now, we're doing the first annual Rockin Robbie Live PCP gift exchange. I have my Amazon wish list pinned at the top of the live chat. If you choose so, you can send me a Christmas gift from that wish list. And if you do, let me know that it's you, and I'll send you something in return. This one came anonymously from my wish list. I don't know who sent this, but there's The Hateful Eight from Quentin Tarantino. This was not in my collection. I needed it. Thank you to whoever sent that to me. This one came from our man Twitch. So Twitch, not only will you get a gift in return, but you have rewritten PCP Movie Night for April because we are adding this one in. Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. This is the really cool Mill Creek VHS slipcover. I have not seen this movie since it first came out. I am telling y'all something. We're doing this in April on PCP Movie Night. Thank you so much, Twitch. This was another anonymous one. House. The first movie. Now, I have House 2, but I didn't have House 1. Now I do. It's the UK version, but it doesn't matter because I have a region-free player. But now I have House 1 and 2. So whoever sent this, thank you. But seriously, whoever sent these, and they came separately, I don't know if it's from the same person or whatnot, but whoever sent these, let me know. I want to send you something in return. Then I got this one in randomly, anonymously, Trauma by Dario Argento, the Vinegar Syndrome release, which I do already have. But I did find out that this was sent by Scarpad. So what I'm doing is I'm taking this. It's still unopened. I'm going to ship this to Dylan. He can either keep it or add it to his giveaway that he's doing in 2023. But I am keeping that slip because I got mine from Amazon. I didn't get the slip. So thank you, Scarpad. Love you. And these ones were purchased by myself. So there's my Warlock collection. Warlock 1, 2, and 3. I've never seen 3, but it's got Ashley Lawrence. So sure, why not? I know that one day Dylan's going to want to unpack those. So I got my Warlock collection. And brand new from Vestron, we got the Silent Night, Deadly Night collection. This is Silent Night, Deadly Night 3, 4, and 5. 3 and 5 suck. I really like 4, but let's be honest, all of them suck. We talked about them all on or on Dylan's Horror Show last night. So there you go. All right. Before we wrap this all up, we did hit some Super Chat goals tonight. FYI, I just had some Captain Crunch Christmas Crunch, and it tore up my mouth. I haven't found any Christmas Crunch yet. I really, really want it. Why do I collect cereal? Because I love cereal. I don't really collect it, but I always have cereal. I love cereal. All right. We hit $10 in Super Chats. We're going to open up these McDonald pop figures to finish my collection. No more. So there's the Ronald McDonald. I've got Hamburglar. I've got Birdie the Early Bird. I got Officer Mac. I've got Mayor McCheese. I got the Grimace. Now we got Ronald to go along with them. So that's appropriate. And we got the Fry Kids. So let's open up these little Fry Kids. Super cute and adorable. Very excited. I have a lot of nostalgia for these McDonald's mascots. And I love... Now, they did do Rockin' Roller, Ronald, I don't care. They did the chicken nuggets, the chicken McNuggets, but they're all in weird costumes. I just didn't want to go down that route. So I didn't get any of the chicken nuggets, but I really do feel like I should have gotten at least one of them. But my favorite chicken McNugget characters were always McBuddies is what they called them. Was always the Halloween costume ones where they did like the horror costumes. Anyway, getting that out of the way, here are the Fry Kids. Nice, got an orange one and a blue one. I'm not assuming any genders. I love that they're smaller and that we came with 2. I love House so much, I need it on blue as well. Yeah, House is awesome. House 2 is actually my favorite, John. Believe it or not. We got a few more things to unbox. But before we do that, it is time for your Final 5. All right, we're going through the 1995 Fleer Ultra Spider-Man set. We're in the milestone section. The death of Gwen Stacy. Pretty hard moment. Pretty milestone moment. That is by Ray Lago. Then we've got the Alien Costume Saga, which did turn out to be a rather big moment in Spider-Man history. Decent enough card. It's all right. Judah Tversky. Oh, this is a nice little card. Then we got The Wedding, which has been undone. But still real to me, goddammit. So The Wedding to Mary Jane. It just shows Mary Jane. I would have liked to have seen probably like more of a representation of that cover to that annual. But Catherine Huerta did a pretty sexy Mary Jane there. So that ain't too bad. Not too bad, right? Not too bad. Next up, we got Kraven's Last Hunt. There are a couple newbies that have read this book recently on my recommendation as one of my favorite Spider-Man books, and they didn't like it as much. And I didn't want to be, but I tried to be. I was like that old man. And I was like, you should have been there. But there's Kraven's Last Hunt. That's a cool card, actually. I really like that. And I stand by Kraven's Last Hunt. Mark Sasso, he's been one of our MVPs. Then we got the Cosmic Spider-Man. That was considered a milestone back then. Still is. And that's the Hildebrands. That's a good card. Hell yeah. And that has been your Final Five. Kelvin wants to know, can I send you Barry Windsor Smith's Monsters? You could, but I would suggest that you don't. I actually already own that. I just haven't read it yet. So I already have a copy of that. But if there's anything else that you'd like to send that's not necessarily on the Amazon wish list, because it's just a bunch of Blu-rays, reach out to me on one of our social platforms, and you can send me whatever you want. But I will tell you, I've already seen, I already have Monsters by Barry Windsor Smith. And one of the things I want to do in the holiday break is actually check it out. All right. Let's open up this Gremlins action figure. This is Gizmo from Gremlins. Very appropriate for Christmas. Now, I have showed a lot of restraint, not diving deep into the NECA Gremlins catalog. I have a stripe that I bought, and then I have this Christmas stripe that was a Christmas present from my buddy Jelani. So there's a lot of cool ones. I do want the Carolers set, but I've not committed to that yet. But this will make a nice little Christmas edition. So there he is, Gizmo, and he comes with his little bow and arrow, and he comes with, so he's got moving eyes. You can move his eyes, and he's got these different faces with different expressions. So that's weird. But he's got the trumpet. He's got the candy cane. He's got the bow and the marshmallow arrow from part 2, including the Rambo headband. So you can do Gremlins 2 New Batch Gizmo. And he's got the Santa hat. And the Santa hat and the candy cane are what I'm looking for right now. And thank you all for the super chats, which led to us opening these. What fell out? Something just flew out. Oh, it's the trumpet. Jesus, I'm just knocking everything over. All right. We're just after the goddamn Santa hat right now. We'll try out the different heads and shit like that later. All that shit just fell. So weird. Remove to enable function. Okay, so there's this little ball on the back, and we can move his eyes? How fucking weird. It's pretty fucking creepy, though. So there he goes. He's got his little rope from his Rambo days. But let's put the little Santa hat on him. Oh my goodness, y'all. Look at that cute-ass goddamn Gizmo. Oh my goodness. I'll put him right there. Oh my God, that's so goddamn cute. That's so cute. This is unnerving, though. What's unnerving is to have these things. What, bruh? That's like so fucking spooky and scary. But I like that you can change his face. Instead of giving him different heads, they gave him a different face because of the whole eye roll gimmick. That's weird. But I like and appreciate that you can do Christmas Gizmo, so Gremlins 1 Gizmo, and you can also do Gremlins 2 Gizmo, where he's like Rambo and shit. That's awesome. We got a couple more things to unbox, but y'all know the deal. Even though I say we're done, we're not done. We're taking off. Thank you all so much. Join us in 2023 for more Rockin' Robbie Live. This was the last one for the year. But do join us on Friday night for our Festivus stream, 5th annual PCP Festivus stream. Scarpad Sci-Fi Sojourns tomorrow, Children of Men, and the following Monday, day after Christmas, I'll be there for 2001: A Space Odyssey. Dylan's Horror Show returns for a New Year's Eve special on December 30th, Friday night, when we talk about Terror Train. But PCP Movie Night does return in January with They Live, Clerks, Taxi Driver, Surf Ninjas, Inside Llewyn Davis, Flash Gordon, and Cyborg. Y'all, we love you so much. Hope everybody has a happy holiday, happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, happy Kwanzaa, happy Yule, all that jam and more. We love you so much. We're not quite done. You know how we roll here. We're dipping out on Rockin Robbie Live.
Batman. Batman.
Happy holidays, PCP Army. How's everybody doing? Welcome to the post-credits. Right? Like Bobby says, that's me on guitar, he says. If it is Station, well impressed I am. But for real, if you play a little bit of a jam, like send me something original. I'll play it. Hell yeah, I did. Bobby also says, Station, everybody. That means be excellent to each other and party on. And sometimes we get so wrapped up in just throwing out the stations, we got to understand the true meaning behind the reason for the season of Station. And that is be excellent to each other and party on. And like Bobby likes to add, remember to call your loved ones and tell them that you love them. People care about you. Comfort and enjoy, y'all. Hell yeah. All right. We hit $30 in Super Chats tonight, which meant we're opening up this King Randor figure. It's from Mo2 Origins. I don't collect the Mo2 Origins line per se, but I do buy the ones that are either replications of figures that are very hard to find, like King Randor. It's a very expensive vintage one to piece together. Or if they're like doing something that like wasn't available back at the time, like the Sunman stuff, which I love. So we're opening up this King Randor. I'm very fucking excited for this. So thank you all for the support, the super chats, and watching the show. Bum, 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 bum. So he's got his little staff. Nice. Nice. There's some rubber ties on there. Let's get those off. I wish someone would put together a supercut of me trying to fucking get these things out of the package. Just cut it, Robbie. Just fucking cut it. God rest ye merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay. There it is. King Randor, everybody. Now, obviously, these Mo2 Origins, they're very similar to the originals, but they do have more vibrant colors. Here's his little kingly staff. But they do make good placeholders until I get a vintage King Randor. So that's pretty dope. Thank you all. And then we're going to open up this slag right there. The Dinobots are super cool. In fact, the Dinobots paved the way for the success of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, I would dare to say. So this one comes with, it comes with Daniel in his little suit. And that's fine. That's neat. That's cool. That's fine. Let's cut some of these damn twisty ties. We three kings of Orient are, bearing gifts we traverse so far. Field and fountain, moor and mountain, follow the yonder star. Oh, star of wonder, star of bright, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to on perfect night. All right. So there he is. He transforms into a Triceratops. I don't know how to do that yet, obviously. But we'll be showing this off in the 2023 season of Rockin Robbie Live. That's dope. Thank you all. What a great show. Really appreciate y'all. Here you go. And I forgot this for show and tell. But our good buddy Nick from Nick Comic Culture, the best comic book review on OnlyFans, sent me a bunch of shit with his logo on it. So let me show it off. I already got a t-shirt, which I love. Nick is one of my favorite comic book reviewers. Seriously, this dude is probably better than me, to be honest with you. But I got a keychain from him. Got a button from him. Love my buttons. Got a refrigerator magnet, and you know that's going up on the refrigerator. And he sent a PCP Army Bad Batch Christmas ornament. Now, everybody in the Bad Batch was getting these. There are rolled up bits of comic books in there, which I think is cool. I don't have a tree big enough for this. My tree's very tiny. There's no ornaments on it, just a fiber optic light up black Christmas tree. But that's awesome. That's so fucking awesome. So Nick, thank you so much for that. Thank you to everybody in the PCP Army, in the PCP Army Bad Batch, in the Excitable PCP crew. Y'all are my family. I love you. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. And I wish I could say how about them Cowboys. But not tonight. We love y'all. Station. Happy holidays.
Batman.
Hey there, everyone. Come check out the experience this Monday, December 19th at 6 p.m. Eastern. A lot's going on. Christmas is coming. All the holidays are coming. And as a special holiday treat, we're going to have 3 giveaways this show, so you definitely don't want to miss it. You know, along with all our other Dynamite titles and Marvel and DC. It's going to be fun. So it's going to be Rex and John and I think it's Robbie. Yes, Robbie's on Monday. I'll be there with Nick and all of us are going to be here. It's going to be a great time. So remember, it's the 19th of December, 6 p.m. It's a Monday, only on The Experience. Can't wait to see ya.
All right, everybody, we're back for the very final bit, and I see that Fable joined us station. And as Bobby says, I know you're probably busy with the fam, man, but it was a wild show. You got to check it out. Yeah, it was a wild show. We had a good time tonight. What did we do? Let's see. First of all, we did the DC sneak peek. Then we reviewed Black Adam. We talked about Spawn #1 for Image in the 90s. We did Datman on Batman. And in case you missed it, Fable,
Batman.
of course, Perry is one of our homies here. Then we did some show and tell, and we opened up some figures because we hit some super chat goals. We opened up our Slag figure. We opened up King Randor. We opened up Gizmo. We opened up the Ronald McDonald and the Fry Kids. There's the Slag. And there's the King Randor right there. So it was a good show. So why am I still here? Well, and we showed off so much cool shit. Right? Hell yeah. First of all, it was great seeing you guys on Geeks Unleashed today. I will be on their episode Wednesday. It's become a holiday tradition. Me, Jasmine, and Mark to sit around and talk about a new volume of Scott Pilgrim. So that was cool. All right, so it's time for a PCP taste test. This chat never gets read. What am I thinking? You're crazy, Comic Crazy. You're crazy. So we got these Ruffles. So there are these chips that have all these like basketball players. Like AD's got a flavor like mashup or some shit. But here are the LeBron ones. So Mike wanted me to be sure I could try these out. Now, cheddar and sour cream Ruffles are some of my favorite chips. I don't necessarily like the Flamin' Hot flavor on a lot of things, but I do like some Flamin' Hot items. Like Flamin' Hot Funyuns are great. I also like Flamin' Hot Cheetos. So cheddar and sour cream Flamin' Hot sounds like this should be a winner, LeBron. Sounds like this should be a winner. Let's try it out. Oh, I love these ones that are like foldy like that. Okay. Okay. They're not bad. In fact, they're good. The Flamin' Hot overpowers the cheddar and sour cream. There could be a better balance there. But Flamin' Hot is an overpowering flavor. I love hot, spicy things. Flamin' Hot's not my favorite kind of flavoring that Lay's puts on their shit. So it's a little bit too overpowering. Not saying it's too spicy, but that flavor of the Flamin' Hot, the vinegariness of it, it's just a little bit overpowering compared to what is typically mellow yet still sharp with the cheddar and sour cream. That being said, they're not bad. They could have balanced it out better. That being said, they're not bad. I'll give them a 3.69. They could have bumped that up to a 4.5, maybe even a 5, if they could have balanced out that spice and heat a little bit better with the cheddar and sour cream. It's a little imbalanced, a little overbearing. Yeah. That's what I say. All right. Anyway, this has been the last Rockin' Robbie Live of 2022, but do not worry. The Festivus stream is on Friday night. So join us then. Y'all have a good one. We're out. Station. Pop, pop, boom. Happy holidays. Stay safe. Stay woke and be discreet.